Exclusive black equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Adjust the angle effortlessly for maximum comfort.
What's up, everyone? This is Yarn from Orange Juice. Joined you here live in Paris for ESWC with NickatNyte.
What's going on, guys? So if you're just tuning in with us here, we are approaching the grand final. It is the final. It's day 3, and we've streamed over, I'd say, 8 or 9 hours the last 2 days, covering groups 1 through 4, 132 players, whittled down to the final 4. The final 16 started off the day taking on a bracket format here. We saw some really close matches. We saw some 3-1s and 3-0s, however, and we're left with the best 4 players. Now, you want to tell them where they're from over here?
Now, Term is from Spain, Ming and B Village are going to be from China, and then Surgical representing the Netherlands. And it's really interesting because with the 128 players, they all qualified from the 1,000 player tournament. So it's the best of the best of the best, because today is the finals of the 128 bracket.
Yeah, definitely. And we've had, from the 128, some qualified locally at tournaments here. Some were brought in specifically for being big hotshot tournament winners. And it was quite dramatic to see some blowouts, some quick, or some really, really close matches. Like especially at the end of yesterday, we had, who was it? Surgical and Baby Star.
Baby Star, he was the number 1 player in the world.
So it's like interesting seeing a very, very good tournament player take on a very, very good leaderboard player. And Surgical's Rocket has been almost unstoppable. We've seen Ming almost unstoppable. He used the Golem Inferno Dragon deck to finish off that series. A lot of new decks.
We haven't seen the Inferno Dragon in a lot of the plays, and it's just been so insane. And just for those guys that don't know, this is the same Ming Shen from the Shanghai tournament who won that.
Yeah, we don't know the exact number. It was something crazy, but over 100,000 people over. There was 1,000 person tournaments, and then another 100 or 1,000 people in person. I don't know, you were there. You saw it all, right?
Yeah, there was like 1,000 people at that Shanghai tournament in that stadium, and it was just so nuts. When he busted out the Lava Hound, that was insane.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little different for us. It's quiet here. We've got our little setup here. We've been watching these guys in person right in front of us for the weekend, but now they're over on the main stage. ESWC's first appearance for Clash Royale at Paris Games Week is this year, 2016. This is the 6th time, however, they've hosted tournaments when it comes to CSGO, Dance. Just Dance. I can't get the name right, but they're thumping behind us the whole weekend. There's been Overwatch, there's been League of Legends and other places, but now Clash Royale gets to take the main stage in just a few minutes, actually. It's like, yeah, I don't know, just a couple here we're going to be.
Yeah, so the last 4 guys are the part of the... We're going to be streaming the quarterfinals and the finals.
Yeah.
So the grand prizes for this whole tournament has been first place is 5,000, second place being 2,500, third being 1,500,
Yep.
and fourth being 1,000. And now these guys are placed in the last 4. They're guaranteed a prize already, so it's going to be very amazing. Very close plays between all of these players.
If you're watching in chat, you can see how they got here by typing !bracket in the chat. It'll take you to the tournament website where this morning the 16 were whittled down. It's been best of 5 for the majority of the time here. So what's going to happen is we'll have our first matchup, best of 5. The winner will go on to the final. The loser will go on to decide if he's 3rd or 4th, whether he gets the $1,500 or the $1,000 prize. But I'm just looking forward to seeing what decks people bring out, because we've just been laughing. We've been coming up with the new meta, like the Archer Lightning, and just like what we're going to see is just going to be awesome. I'm sure it's going to be quite a grand finale.
Yeah, Archer Lightning was just so clutch. Apparently
Yeah.
you need to lightning the archers to win the game.
Yeah, there's been so many pushes, like the new Golem decks with the Mega Minion and Baby Dragon. A lot of times you just see archers thrown behind them before double elixir, and people are taking them out with lightning more often than not, and it's weirdly working out.
And obviously it's not just lightning the archers, but just when you need to justify it, when they're the only things that are behind that Lava Hound and you can't have anything to counter it, you don't
Yeah.
have anything but lightning to counter it, it just makes so much sense. And the archers are just such a good unit because they're not zappable, and you can't arrow them, you can't log them, so you have to lightning them.
We're seeing a ton of decks that
Yeah.
are working in Mega Minion, Baby Dragon, Ice Golem, Archers, and just nothing to log, zap, arrow, and you have to just do a
Yep.
couple different moves. A lot of miners, expect to see miners, expect to see maybe a couple golems, Lava Hounds for sure, and then rockets. Expo also has made a couple appearances today, but we'll go ahead and there's going to be some action. I think right now they're starting over. I can see the strobe lights. If we get thrown over there, you guys will be able to see how the stage is looking,
Yeah.
and they've got the big intro going on right now.
It's just so nuts with what all the cards that they're playing right now. We've seen a lot of Baby Dragon. I didn't realize that could be such a strong tournament player or a
Yep.
tournament card. And then there's the Archers, which we haven't seen much. And they've proven that the Golem actually works in the tournaments. And it's such a high commitment card that we haven't really seen many players use it to win in tournament standard matches. But they've been pulling it off, and you'll see why soon.
Yeah, it's been really crazy. So that's, I think, all the info for the prerequisites, if you guys are just joining in, that you're going to need to know. But it's been a long weekend, and happy to have everybody here who is showing up for this Final Four showdown. Many hours of streaming, prep. These players, they've been prepping decks. There's been deck changes on the fly. From everything from setting up this booth to getting them over to the main stage, it's been one heck of a journey, and we're about to see how it ends.
Yeah,
for
we
one
actually-
lucky few or one lucky person.
We had one player who actually customized the deck on the fly, like on the podium.
That
Just
was
to specifically
Baby
counter.
Star. After Surgical had beat him twice with a rocket, he took an extra couple minutes and made a mere elixir pump deck and then used that to draw out the rocket. So you guys can still see us right here, but take a look at what is happening here. We've got the announcers going on. And I assume that they can hear that too, but look at this crowd out there.
It's
We had like 50 people standing outside here watching, and then look at this.
Yeah, they're literally right beside us and everything.
Yeah, we can
And,
see them in person.
It's just because this is live in Paris right now, so they do have to have a French host just for the French audience.
You guys all get to see this online in English, but hey, look, he's waving to you guys.
Nice.
Just some quick stats. I mean, Surgical from the Netherlands, he's got to be one of the favorites here, but then
He
the
has
two players from China, they're almost unstoppable with the Lava Hounds. We haven't seen Surgical with the rocket take on many Lava Hounds.
That's right, and that's going to be very interesting. He does Rocket Inferno Tower in that deck. A few things about Surgical Goblin. He's from the Netherlands. He's won a total of 52,000 cards from tournaments and from the challenges.
Yeah.
And he has been participating in Clash with Ashes tournaments, and he's won 6 tournaments back to back to back, all 6 of them consecutively. So
Clash
he's
with
been
Ash.
proven.
Always putting out those great tournaments and providing that, really good daily dose of high tactical content on his channel, and then he gives back to his fans with those daily tournaments. Surgical making the most of those, and then getting a reputation in the community, recently joining Hammer's eSports, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's funny, we've got independent people coming in as big name players from China. We've got Surgical from Netherlands, and then we've got Term from Spain.
Termisfa from Spain, yep. He has 15,000 tournament cards won, and these guys are just really, really skilled players.
We did have a couple other big names here. We had Trimax from Germany competing. Was that the second round on day 1, I believe? And then we had Alvaro. He was on day 2, I think, in round 3. So we've also had the prodigies of Germany and Spain in the forms of YouTubers. But it's very rare, just like I expect in the upcoming Kings Cup, for a YouTuber to jump into the mix after what is going to be in that tournament. Over 300 people whittled down to just 8 taking on YouTubers. We may be able to talk about things well, but when it comes to executing, there's just players that are another level.
They do. They can adapt on the fly, just like we saw in the last game. One of the players adjusted how they played the Inferno Tower just because it hit double elixir time, and you can kind of see in the game style how it just changed the dynamic of everything and the interactions.
Yeah, like he'd been under lightning siege, and then when he saw the lightning coming, he switched up where the Inferno went for the minion horde, and it saved him the game, and he won. And we've seen people who are literally we got them full screen right now. We've seen people that are just like 1 or 2 lightning spells away from victory fail because they're just not defensive enough or something happens, and then the game tilts the other direction. It's happened to end 2 different series, I believe, in the last 24 hours. It's been nuts.
So many clutch games right now. We've had where they had 50 health on the tower, and they just couldn't zap it because there's so much pressure on their tower, and boom.
That was a couple matches ago. They had to do a little review to make sure the internet didn't error out because there was 40 seconds left, and all it needed was a zap, and it never came out.
Yeah, but they still showed very high-level technical aspects of the game and just the understanding of everything.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, as YouTubers, we're more of an analyst than the players. They have such lightning-quick reflexes on the fly, and they can formulate these strategies on the spot.
Yeah. This has just been a pretty awesome experience, heading out here to Paris. Get thrown in the mix. Didn't even get much practice, but this team has been rock solid here throughout these different heats, these first 4 setups of 32 players, and now moving on to the Final 4. It's going to be, so how do you predict? We've seen a lot of 3-0s, 3-1s today. You think these are going to be a little bit closer?
It's going to be some very close matches. I'm rooting for a Surgical just because he's playing a very unique deck that I haven't seen in a long time.
It's going to be interesting if it works. He also had an Expo. We've seen a little bit of Expo, not as much as there have been in Super Magical and Coronation tournaments, which apparently it's running rampant over there. We'll see how this works out with a little bit of Expo, because it's just being countered too well the few times we've seen it.
Yep. With
the Bowler, Mega Minion, Inferno Tower. It's just been a little rough for it.
Despite them having the guards in front of the Expo to kind of guard it, they're out-predicting each other's predictions. So you're seeing 3 levels of predictions right there, and everyone's just 5 steps ahead of each other.
Yeah. I want to see what's happened on that stage. It sounds epic right now, but I know they needed a little bit of an intro. I don't know. What else we got going on matchup-wise? I don't really know much about Termisso's decks. I don't remember what he was using earlier on.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to spectate too many games from him.
Yeah,
but
kind of came out of nowhere into the Final 4.
You're speaking about the groups from the last few days. So to kind of clarify what the groups are, there are 32 players in each group. Group 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they have to win 5 matches. 5 rounds.
Yeah, so they basically played Swiss-style rounds. So if you won, you get the W out of your best of 5. If you lost, you got a loss, and then they would match people that were closest to their win-loss record. And every day there was at least 1 or 2 people, or every group, there was at least 1 or 2 people who went undefeated in all 5. And
5 wins back-to-back, and these are the 4 players that have been undefeated so far. So it's the best of the best.
It's been absolutely insane. We saw a little bit of the Clash Royale intro over there on stage, and it's not even the prize, the cash in hand after this thing here. It's being a part of all these people are checking out Clash Royale as an esport for the first time at Paris Games Week right now, and you get that honor if you get first place here. I think that's the bigger prize. It's going to live on a lot longer than your 5,000.
Your grandchildren are going to know about this.
Oh, we could go there if we want to. Okay, here come the contestants. You can see them. Oh no, just kidding. Those are the French casters. There they are. Jelly of them.
Yeah.
We're over here in these hot lights. They're on the stage looking fly.
If only we could speak French. We can speak a little bit, but
nah, I just dabble in language. I've been known to be a dabbler. Just like I could dabble in Mortar or Expo. You give it to me, I'll use it. What's up, everyone in Twitch chat? You can keep the hype going. We just brought you up on screen here so we can see what you guys are seeing here. Just curious, can you go over to the home screen on our Royale? Oh no, not the bracket. Yeah, just go over one tab there. Yeah, grab that. All right, so look at that crowd. Looking cool. All right. And if you're coming from the in-game notification, which that was what I was checking out right there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you want to see how these players got here, besides just looking at the bracket with the command exclamation point bracket, these broadcasts on this channel are all archived for the last 2 days. You can see us from showing up, not really knowing anyone, to then developing storylines, making friendships, watching positive elixir trades, getting a little bit of banter there in the middle, and at one point I kicked Yarn off the stage. But you have to find that in the replays.
Somewhere in there.
Oh, man, we're going to see some good matchups. Over there, you've got Dova King, BFA, and I just met him the other day. It's hard. I don't know their streamer names, everyone. But
I only know their real names, so.
Yeah, we've been hanging out. Those guys have been good. Good hosts. Everybody here has been as little English as most people from France speak. It's been fun. Yeah,
it's just an amazing week here. It's been really amazing.
Oh, I mean, if I didn't have the world's best audio engineer backing us right now, I assume translator, audio engineer, chaperone, best friend. I found a new best friend, so it's great.
Yep.
The little people in your ears make everything possible.
So it looks like the contestants are still setting up. How do you feel about the graveyard?
Oh, I feel great. I just posted a video. I got it today. I saw I had saved up a legendary, super magical, and magical. What are the chances of me getting in the super magical?
There's a 60% chance to pull legendary from a super magical chest, but despite all that, there's actually a 5% chance to pull one graveyard.
We didn't even rehearse that. So 5% chance. I had the legendary chest. What's the percentage there? 1 in 9. Not much to calculate.
Exactly.
I went into a grand challenge, and I was in the hotel. I had lost 2. The third loss, I just woke up. I'm like, okay, I'll tap through it. And the graveyard popped up. I'm like, I have to go make this video. So I just plugged it in, but I didn't get to react to it. But I got it.
Did you say a 6-win grand challenge chest?
Yeah.
That's very rare.
I've never received a legendary in a grand challenge before.
To put that into perspective, a 6-win grand challenge chest has about a 5% chance to pull legendary. That means that's a 1 in 9 out of that pull.
Wow. That was very lucky,
fortunate.
very lucky. I'm gonna get some water. We've been talking for 8 to 9 hours for the last 2 days. The voice is gonna be shot after this one, folks. Oh man, all right, let's see. Right now he's like, are you guys ready for this? We've been waiting for so long, and here they come, pom-poms and all. We
have Surgical right there with B Village.
Yep, Surgical and B Village are gonna be the first 2 up. I can't wait for this one.
Yep. Now there's B Village there on the right, and then there's Surgical on the left in the green striped shirt.
And he's just like, I'm just happy to be here.
Yep.
I mean, everyone was so easy to beat until now, but I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah.
Look at Surgical. He's in the zone right now.
And then Surgical's just like, I can't quote him unless he's speaking, but we'll see. And then, how do you feel about this? It's just going to be pretty easy, but I'll just play what I've been playing. Oh, right. He's very confident.
I like how you're dubbing over his voice.
Look at this guy. Can you see the confidence just gleaming off of him? No, these guys... they're not even that confident. I've been talking with them, meeting up with players the whole weekend, whether it's at the hotel, after the streams, after the broadcasts, here in the venue, taking pictures, back on the streets, walking around at McDonald's, at a pizza shop, at anything really.
Yep.
And some of them said, I've been nervous on this little stage here with 2 chairs back to back with just this little cluster of pillows of people playing around them, but I'm just going to play my game. Those were literally Surgical's words. Another one was he had another deck that he had never debuted before. So just the risk, reward, and mentality has been awesome.
Yeah, especially because you've never played that deck before. You haven't quite tested it in tournament standards with all the interactions with all the other cards.
So there you can see the French casters. They're going to be talking to that group, but I think we're talking to more.
Yep.
Just computer people.
So just for everyone else that's just tuning in, these are the finals of the finals of the finals for ESWC. And the grand prize for a total of $10,000. First place being $5,000. Second place being $2,500. Third place being $1,500. Fourth place being $1,000. And these guys are the finalists, at least in the quarterfinals and the finals. So they already qualify for one prize at least. They're all guaranteed $1,000 to walk away already.
Yep. So they are 4 of 100 There's 4 that are here now, but we've seen 124 more that aren't going to get this big of a spotlight.
Yep.
Pretty crazy stuff. And look at the intro they're getting. Okay.
And of those 124...
Oh, wait. They were practicing Just Dance behind us all weekend, and now I understand why. Would you look at that?
Now, would you say these are the gamers or the dancers?
I'd say that's the Three Musketeers.
Oh.
Before they were brought to 9 Elixir, though. Those are definitely 10 Elixir Three Musketeers.
I'd say they're 11.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and switch topics and change gears.
Yeah.
What else were you going to want to talk about tactical-wise?
So, I want to talk about the Graveyard, actually. It's very interesting because... in my opinion, the Graveyard is one of the strongest spells right now. It's a high skill ceiling deck or card where it takes a while to learn, but once you learn it, it's very practical and very effective. And one of the reasons for that is that there's a 0.5 second spawn time per skeleton. Now, if you know that fact, an arena tower can one-shot a skeleton once a second. So every second that elapses, the skeletons just keep accumulating and accumulating.
One shot, 2 skeletons. One shot, 2 skeletons.
Yeah, so every second, one extra skeleton just propagates onto the spell. And why that's so strong is that a Graveyard that is left unattended will do about 2,000 damage to the tower, a little bit over 2,000. And
yeah, it's because it's called overkill. The tower shoots too much and then has to reload. We were talking about that earlier.
Exactly.
It'd be like if your tower was an Expo, it would be just fine.
Yeah.
But since it's not.
It's just so nuts. And one of the strengths of the spell is that that's very distracting.
Do you see the dancing? They're all shaking out.
That's why you're dancing. I don't have that monitor.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I'm saying how that this arena tower can only kill half the skeletons that spawn, and it just accumulates so fast. So at a level 9 arena tower, at tournament standard, it's the same thing.
Yep.
Whereas with let's say you're a level 9 facing a level 13, and that level 9 has a Graveyard spell, it's still going to deal 2,000 damage to that tower just because of the overkill of the tower. So the skeletons are just so strong.
We're about to get into matches here. I can't wait. We'll give them a couple more seconds. They're probably, headphones are still going in, choosing decks. This is going to be, if we see mistakes, it's because of where they are. They just had a Three Musketeer dance introduction. There's got to be over 1,000 people in those chairs in front of them. An announcer on stage, a little interview, which they aren't used to giving. They just come up here and normally play. French casters talking about them, us talking about them online. They know all this. We'll still probably see some pretty crazy plays here in just a little bit. And I think this is a good turning point for mobile esports. I mean, how many times do you have to hear people talk about that when it comes to streaming? It's like...
It's very rare. I mean, this is setting precedence to the mobile scene, and it's very, very rare to have this kind of scene develop for us.
I mean, just from what's been happening out in LA with Coronation, with what's been happening out here at Paris Games Week, what's happened in... I mean, Toronto's having some big tournaments, and then next week, King's Cup, there's just back-to-back events going on, and it all kicked off with a little Helsinki tournament with a game that came out, and Jason's Deli.
Oh, yeah.
He brought that tutorial deck out and showed everyone what's going on. I have a little saying here that I busted out earlier. It was a knight and archers, which are very prevalent right now.
So we're actually going to be jumping into the match
here
right now.
Oh, I want that a little. Oh my goodness. Double Expos get deployed. Ice Golem from B Village.
Looks like that Mega Minion's going to take out the other Mega Minion. Ice Spirit freezes him, so it takes him out. That Expo is locked on. They're both locked onto the tower. Surgical at the top and B Village on the bottom. The guards are going to be coming in for that Expo on both sides. It's like a mirror image.
What a crazy start. We had not seen Surgical. He played this deck once and then immediately went to his Rocket Cycle deck with the Inferno Tower.
Look at that Expo. It's about to take out the tower. Right there in the very beginning,
oh my
Surgical
gosh.
Goblin takes out that tower with the Expo still alive. Not even 1 minute
so
in.
long. We've been talking so much. If you just even get the Expo with a quarter of a health left and it gets on the tower, it's going to do hundreds of damage. But Surgical gets the better of that exchange in the beginning with both of them starting with Expo.
And then Surgical plants down that Inferno Tower to tank for that Expo. That's amazing. That Inferno Tower having so much health, being the building with the second most health.
That Ice Golem had a gnarly splash, though, from the Inferno Tower all the way to the Mega Minion. He hit it all. Okay, so there we go. Ice Golem.
And that Ice Golem's death damage kills the Mega Minion. When is the last time you've seen something like that happen?
Oh my gosh, it's in French too. We haven't seen that yet. Okay, so they're both going to trade towers with the Expo. Now, this is where it gets interesting. How do you play when you're down a tower when if you put it over there, you have to go towards the middle, right? Because otherwise they can just deploy right on top of your
Absolutely.
Expo.
It's going to be very hard now for each other to chip each other with the Expo.
And this is very strange, guys. We've been seeing B Village rock I believe more...
Bowler to counter the Expo. It's going
Wow.
to demolish those guards right there. Take out the Ice Spirit and the guard right there. Then the Bowler.
Unfortunately, it's not locked on the bowler. Otherwise, it would do basically nothing to the tower. The Ice Golem can't get through.
This is looking like bad news for B Village right now with that tower down at 1,000 damage. What do you suppose Surgical's 8th card could be?
Surgical with the Expo, he's probably got a rocket.
It's a little bit hard to say right now, a little bit too early.
A little too early. It could be Fireball or Rocket with the Expo. You generally want
Expo
something to
right there
finish
behind
it
the
off.
Bowler.
And then on the bottom, look at B Village sitting at 10 for so long because he knows he has to deploy when he can tank for that Expo.
Just look at Surgical plant down those guards, knowing that he needs to protect it from the Mega Minion, but the Mega Minion still locks onto that Expo.
I would say, since we haven't seen it, B Village, if he doesn't have an Inferno, he has to have a rocket or some other type of win condition, but I don't know if that's going to help him out here since Surgical is playing his Inferno.
Look at that. With both towers down, their Expos are going to have a hard time locking onto the tower.
And I know this is the first match that the majority of people are tuning into, but we have not seen Expo versus Expo, I don't think, in the entire time we've been here. Maybe once or so?
We haven't seen any of that quite yet. Is that Expo going to lock on? No, there's a Bowler there, so we're going to be going into overtime now. Look at that log slowly chip away with dominant lane control. 648 health. Surgical is constantly applying pressure. B Village has no chance to plant an Expo on the left side.
Just a little bit of chip. Will we see it come out? Let's see. Oh no, so if it was a rocket, it would have been launched already because 493 is the rocket's damage at tournament standard. That's definitely doable right there at 426.
Just look at B Village's Expo doing some damage to that tower, but that Mega Minion freezes and takes out that Expo. 322. Surgical's going to need to bust out 3.5 logs to take out that tower.
If he does have a Fireball, he can log Fireball it.
He could.
Yeah, let's see. What is his last card that he's not playing? Maybe it's something.
It could actually be Fireball because Fireball does 276 damage to the tower.
Yeah.
He just needs to chip it one more time if he does have a Fireball, that is. Going
There's
to log
the Fireball,
and the
there's the
just
log,
like you
and
said,
that's
he
going
goes
to end
into
the
the game.
Oh my gosh, first one goes pretty quick. Wow. What an insane...
That's your 15th prediction today. You said there was a Fireball, and he had a Fireball just like that.
I mean, I initially thought Rocket, but then it would have came out if it was the Rocket a little bit earlier there, but...
Yeah, you said that the Rocket has 493 damage, so it obviously would have been played a lot earlier.
Yeah, he wouldn't just sit there and wait for him to set up an Expo, defend twice with the Ice Golem against the Bowler right there, so let's go ahead.
So it's really interesting with that Fireball. It was a slight disadvantage because it was sitting in his slot the whole time, so he only had 3 cards to play in his rotation, but Surgical just kept applying that pressure.
Man, I can't wait to see. Okay, so Surgical knows he just won
now that's
with the
Surgical
Expo.
On the screen right now in the striped green shirt.
That's him right there.
Representing the Netherlands. And
Did he
B
wear that
Village
shirt
on the right.
yesterday? I don't know, I'm just kidding. But hey, I look more like B Village with my nice sweater.
Well, it's just like how Phone Cats always has 10 black shirts. You know?
Yeah, I generally wear black shirts in videos too. I don't know what it is. It's just a gaming thing.
It is.
Look at these guys over here.
I actually have 10 of these shirts.
I have one too.
No, you don't.
I do. It's a positive elixir trade in a shirt. It's all you really need to do. So if you're at B Village, do you switch it up? What are you going to go to next? Because I don't know. I think
anything
his problem was
right
if he had an Inferno top. I don't know. The Inferno was a little bit of trouble for him.
It was rarely played, but when it was very effective. And
there was one play where he just put it in the lane where he needed to hit the other tower and left it there because he knew he couldn't start attacking it. It was pretty cool.
What I love about these games is that they understand the technical aspects of everything. They know when to plant the Inferno Tower, exactly where to plant it, and how to protect it. They'll predict guards if there's something else to counter it.
That was weird. There wasn't a skeleton army in those Expo decks.
There wasn't, but there was guards. Just because the guards were just as useful to protect against the Mega Minion.
Now people have been predicting skeleton army and pre-logging when they know you have it, and if once you get that done to you once, you can never really use skeleton army again. So then they're using guards now because they will survive it and at least tank a little bit of shots from that Expo right there.
That's right, and I can't believe that Surgical Goblin actually got an Expo to take out that tower with his tower down. It was just... You could plant guards, you could plant the Ice Golem, you could plant the Mega Minion on top of that Expo, but he still managed to get it down.
The Bowler, I think, also helped him out because he was getting the Bowler to tank, I feel like, a little better in that one right there. But I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. I don't think it's going to be that easy for Surgical, but we'll see. He has been relatively flawless in these last couple rounds. And we don't really know this flow of how they're going to
So-
do breaks or timing just because...
I think they're just checking out the different decks right now, so they're trying to counter their counters.
Yeah.
So Surgical's trying to see if he's going to counter his counter, so possibly make a counter for his counter for his counter.
Is this a kitchen we're designing with all these counters, or...?
I prefer marble. Anyways, so back to the game.
I don't know. I mean, we've kind of covered the Expo. So what if someone goes to Lava Hound and you're still rocking Expo?
I have a feeling that B Village is anticipating Surgical Goblin's famous rocket deck. So Surgical
I want to see that.
Surgical might actually not play it if he's anticipating his opponent as anticipating him.
Counterception again.
Counterception, I like that.
Someone said it in chat. I have to admit, I stole it. I can't read whose name it was, though, because now we're going a little bit quicker.
It's a counter elixir trade, that's what it is.
Counter elixir trade. All right, let's get around
elixir
to... Come on, let's get round 2 going. Surgical is talking to the pit boss over there saying, hey, man, I just want to tell you, I have this really cool rocket deck, but unfortunately I couldn't use it last round.
Is it just me, or does that look like Gabe? Almost.
Maybe it's a technical thing.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
There's a ton of people in the arena. Today, a lot of finals. I hear some dancing. I know there's Street Fighter. I know there is CSGO, which went from there and moved over there. And this game runs on Wi-Fi, which has been a frequent issue until there's a Wi-Fi as fast as an Ethernet, or as stable is a better word, as an Ethernet connection. Tournaments like this, how do you deal with it?
It's just
the
so hard.
Interference.
Like with the CSGO scene, it's very competitive, but there's desktops connected to the Ethernet port.
Yep.
And this is the first mobile game that's truly so competitive where you need perfect latency.
I feel like we've over doubled in viewers since kind of describing this. And if you guys are just showing up from the in-game message, basically 128 people were divided into 4 groups.
Now, where did those 128 people come from?
A couple were handpicked from really big tournament winners from across the globe and brought out here. A couple qualified via a local qualifier event, obviously more regional. And then some other traveled, like Trimax from Germany and Alvaro from Spain, well-known people in the community.
And then most of these players qualified from the 1,000-player ESWC tournaments in-game.
Yeah.
So there was, what, 100? Or there was at least 10 of them.
Yeah.
So out of 10,000 players, 128 came here. The top 128 players, of course.
Yeah.
And then
they were divided into 4 groups of 34, and then out of that, you were matched up over the course of 5 rounds with a tiebreaker at the end if it came to it. And then 4 people from each of those 32, which is already 1 in 8, not the best odds, got into the final 16 today, and now we're just broadcasting the final 4 to you guys.
Yep. So it's literally the top of the top of the top of the top.
Yep. And then there's $10,000 in prizes for this tournament. However, the glory of being in front of all these people on this main stage is a little bigger right now. It looks like they're getting ready to go, but it's 5,000 first, 2,500 second, 1,500 third, 1,000 for fourth. We're going to be spectating there, jumping into it right now. And it's going to be on the screen on the big stage and on screen for you guys.
So Surgical is going in with that Mega Minion on the spot on the backside. They're both responding with Mega Minion with an Ice Spirit coming right on ahead.
All right, so it looks like Surgical is sticking with the Expo. Interesting. And then we see the bowler. I mean, they both could be.
It looks like they have very similar decks with the exception that they both have the Ice Golem. Look at that. The Ice Golem freezes both these units for 35% slow.
And then the guards distract at least one bowl of the bowler away from the Expo, and then he finally goes down. And will the Expo get any lock on the tower? Just maybe a second of it.
B Village going in with that Expo again. How is Surgical going to respond to that? He goes with an Inferno Tower, but B Village outpredicts him with an Ice Spirit, freezes that, and the Inferno Tower locks onto the Mega Minion.
And
now that Expo's going to deal so much damage.
Oh, man. And then there's an Ice Golem to top it off, going right up to the tower there. And the guards are going to have to go for the Ice Golem first. Oh.
With that Ice Golem's death damage only dealing 40, it's not enough to take out the guard shield.
So 2 Expo exchanges. B Village is looking like he will take an entire tower with his. And we know Surgical has the Fireball in his deck.
Just a minute and a half in, and B Village's first Expo takes out that tower. Going in for the second Expo. How is Surgical going to defend against that? Both Expos targeting onto that Ice Golem. That's ridiculous right there.
They're caught in the crossfire. Oh man, the stream one that I'm watching on my monitor, we're on different monitors here. I'm watching it in French, so it said Super Combat. I guess I don't know how to say it, how it's pronounced, but I mean, mine when the emotes pop up is in French. It's quite funny. We haven't seen that the whole week.
All right, so Surgical's going in with that Expo right there. It's being protected by that Inferno Tower. Takes out that Ice Golem and that Bowler right there.
And then on the screen here, I am seeing 0-0. I'm not sure if that hasn't updated yet. As we know, Surgical took the first one. I'm not sure what they were talking about after, but we'll verify that in a little bit right after this one.
Yeah, hopefully we can verify the results of that.
And he needs to put that bowler down now. There it goes. The double ice golems, they just really tie everything up for quite some time. And you, in your words, you said the ice golem is really underused because it already has the utility it needs even before its upcoming 70% increase.
Yeah, there's a 74% increase coming soon, November 1st, which will kill skeletons, but it already has a lot of value. For 2 elixir, it denies so much and has a 35% slow.
The defensive expo is all B Village will need in this one here because of the one successful deployment.
It looks like Surgical Goblin is not going to be able to get an expo through to that tower.
The thumbs ups and the well-playeds drop, keeping it nice and friendly. So
we noticed that the score was 0-0.
We had a rematch situation. Okay,
like we were talking about earlier how there is wireless issues just because with the latency.
Okay. So we're going to take a look here. All right, so that was a rematch.
So unfortunately, the first one did not count. That might have explained why that expo in the first match went through.
Yes, it might have. So that first one was a Wi-Fi issue, so it was redone, and now we have B Village up 1-0.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, how with the more competitive desktop games like CSGO, you have an Ethernet port connected to the desktop, whereas now it's all wireless. And if you guys have ever been to a big event like with a big stadium, you have almost no reception just because there's so many people in the stadium.
Yeah, and despite the wireless issue, that's gotta hurt. That's basically the equivalent of being in the final of a World Series or major sporting event, having a rule go to the box for review and have it overturned. And if Surgical loses after thinking he was up 1-0, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. So let's see if he changes decks.
In Shanghai, for the 1,000-player tournament, what I actually saw was I saw over 50 routers in that stadium. So it's very, very hard to get really good signal.
We need some hamsters in here. Start powering up a few more.
We're going to go into the second match. It looks like the score is 1-0
I like
for
it.
B
Surgical's
Village.
got his rocket deck with the Princess. You can already tell. He chips with the Miner. A frequent push you're going to see from Surgical in this deck here is going to be Mega Minion and Ice Spirit at the bridge with the Miner on the tower.
And with that rocket, it denies the Expo completely from any damage on the right side from Surgical's tower. Going in for that log for a positive elixir trade.
The one benefit B has here is that his Expo will definitely draw the rocket. And then with Surgical, he generally needs it to end the match. He can get pretty close when he plays. Watch for the Mega Minion, Ice Spirit, Miner. That's generally his push for chip.
Just look at that bowler going in. He has a bowler. I'm not sure what he's going to have much use for that bowler just because there isn't a skeleton army, is there?
I think there's a predictive knight, so he can't expo that side so easy now. So he abandons the Mega Minion push after seeing it get kind of heavy loaded and then sends the Miner, and the Expo's going to turn around.
Very interesting play there where he's using the Miner to chip and to tank for the Expo and then using Rocket to take out the tower because Surgical is not going to have any Expo damage on his tower.
Princess will be able to deal with those guards with the assistance of the tower just barely as they get those, what were we calling them? Pikes? No.
Yeah, the guards do have a pike, so they do have a slight range to them. This is just such a heated match right now. It's going to be very close. Surgical goes in for that Miner usually for that little chip damage.
He wants to set up the Mega Minion Ice Spirit Miner, but the Ice Spirit's also pretty valuable knowing that he's placing an Expo.
Look at how B Village is always playing an Ice Golem in the front because he's going to try and set up for an Expo attack right now, but he has to defend against that Miner.
He's just going opposite lane here, so the rocket comes out, and even if an Expo gets rocketed, it'll do 100 or so, maybe upwards of 150 damage on the tower, but there was enough in the opposite lane there to distract it.
That's right, and just look at how both of these players are just neck and neck right now. The Expo is not getting through because of that rocket, but that rocket is also Surgical's win condition with the Miner just slowly chipping away.
At this rate, I'm not going to say anything. It would take an error or someone changing their rotation, knowing what the other person has, because the damage being dealt in the first 3 minutes, even if you double it, wouldn't result in anything more than a draw.
Look at that value rocket right there. It takes out the Expo, and now that Miner is almost done with that Mega Minion going for one shot, taking out that Bowler.
All right, Miner on the tower. That could have provided a lot of extra value. Now he has a full Mega Minion.
That Miner got denied completely from the Ice Spirit and the Bowler. Village going in with an Expo on the left side, immediately getting Rocket. That log kills that Ice Spirit and the Princess for a positive elixir trade.
Now the question here is, how are they going to get enough damage on these towers just under 3 minutes rather? And then we see the Miner coming in for additional chip, but the Ice Spirit and Bowler.
Oh, look at the Ice Golem right there protect the tower, so that Miner only got one hit off that tower.
And then for the same amount of elixir that it cost him to deploy the Miner as well, which is pretty crazy.
So it looks like that Ice Golem did glitch a little bit. It did protect the Expo. Generally what happens in there is this match will be cancelled.
Yeah, that was a full-blown rocket, and due to the death damage via a known issue.
Now, what happens here is that Supercell is aware of this bug. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to release a full App Store update for that. So this entire match will be discounted.
Redone. Yeah, because of that one play right there. That Expo actually should have been taken out, or just a sliver of health left, but there's a known issue with Ice Golem death invulnerability.
Yeah.
So,
which will be fixed very soon.
Yeah, so...
And Supercell, again, is aware of this.
Until then, everyone in the chat can see it as well. We saw that here. That's one thing. It's almost like we'd have to say no Ice Golem, but when you're using it as a tank properly, it is still a good card to pair with the Expo.
It's just such a good card.
Unfortunate that it does have that problem with it at the moment here, but it's a very temporary issue. And I assume at the next tournaments coming up, it'll already be fixed. We'll see. So we're going to see how that goes. It's kind of unfortunate because...
It doesn't even look like he did it intentionally. It just kind of happened, and these players...
Because we've seen people using it in front of it all day, and it didn't do it, so it's very sporadic. I don't know if they could replicate it on purpose or not.
That's right. So...
Yeah. We'll have to see how that one plays out here. So... I didn't want that to happen because I think Surgical, I was kind of rooting for him there. I actually think it would have been a draw, though.
If you did notice, his Miner was getting at least 2 hits on the tower, but that Bowler in the Ice Spirit was just doing so much to that.
Yeah, the Miner, doing 64 a swing, it's going to take a heck of a lot of swings, but we're jumping into the next one here, and let's see how this plays out. Obviously, you can see the score is still 1-0.
So it's going to be the same deck right now. Expo against the Rocket. He goes in for the Rocket to deny completely. That Knight tanks for a little bit, takes out those guards. Now they're both at 4 elixir.
Now, if you're Village, are you a little nervous when you put the Ice Golem down that your success will be canceled out by a redo from a glitch?
I wouldn't even think about it. The chances of making that happen are very, very slim. Not the chances, but the tile range to replicate that scenario.
It has to be in the perfect distance from it, because we've seen it in various tile distances, and none of it happened then.
Exactly.
Look at that Ice Golem, slow and steadily.
Look at that Golem deal 70 damage to the tower and a 40 damage death to it. Expo coming up. Does he have an Inferno? He answers
that's a great
with
counter.
A
And then the log takes out the Ice Spirit, which would have froze both of those for 2 seconds. Coming up on the first, it would have been 1.5.
Oh, that Mega Minion is going in hot at full health right now, but the other Mega Minion is targeted onto the tower. Right there, they both cancel each other out, dropping their helmets.
And to cancel it out, it has to be a full swing ahead with the assistance of that tower. So we frequently see Surgical play right there with Princess at the bridge. If he gets just that one shot off, what's she doing? Over 150, right?
Yeah, about 140 damage on the tower.
Yep.
And it's kind of a strange trade because the Princess will do 140 and then the log will do 104 to take her out and the tower. So it's kind of an even trade elixir ratio-wise.
Yeah, that little less damage, but you took out a card that was 1 elixir more.
Yeah.
This is a full setup right here.
With that Bowler and Ice Spirit out of rotation, I'm expecting a Miner coming in hot from Surgical side.
It's tough because he...
There we go, just like I said, that Miner's coming in. He rockets the Expo. The Expo's still going to target the tower for a couple hundred health.
Oh yeah, and look at that. That was a fresh Expo, and it took the tower down almost 300 damage even after being rocketed.
Yeah, but that Miner on the bottom right side did so much damage to there. This is going to be very dangerous. Village can't afford any chip damage just because Surgical has a rocket deck, and everyone knows that. Look at that Mega Minion trying stop that miner in the bottom right, but the miner still got 2 shovel hits off of.
This is what I was seeing that we could have gone into if that match was not reset, because as you can see, Surgical's chip damage, if he could just get that tower down to even 2 rockets, maybe he could cycle through quick enough.
Is that not going to get 1 hit? It doesn't get 1 hit off the tower. Miner going in again, and the Princess, he can't address both of them right now, so that Princess gets 1 shot off, and the Miner gets a couple hits on the tower.
And he likes that because he had to use the Mega Minion on the Princess when lately the Mega Minion's been used for the Miner.
Now, Surgical is at a slight advantage right here, just because of the rocket that he has. Such control of that rocket. Again, Surgical has won 6 tournaments in a row, so he knows how to play this rocket precisely. We've never seen any misplays.
Oh, and then the guards are predicted in the back. That means the Miner's going to get 2, but then shut down right there. And then the log. So right now, that tower's within 2 rockets. But every time he has to rocket this Expo, like right now probably, yes.
Yep.
When he commits finally, I think he goes until it's 1 rocket and then just goes for it.
Right now, he can't afford to use a double rocket just because he needs that to counter the Expo. So he's slowly sending in that Miner. That Miner goes in for that Ice Spirit, gets denied completely for no value.
Still pretty quick on his feet, though, because he sent the Miner to the opposite side.
Now, this is looking like a lot of trouble because Surgical doesn't have 6 Elixir, so he can't counter that Expo immediately until right now.
Ice Golem going down, and that is normally what happens. Ice Golem and Expo get destroyed. It's a very unique circumstance when it doesn't.
That
Princess is going to take it down to 470. 1 more rocket. He has to cycle through.
Now,
6 Elixir in there. It
right
is
there,
going.
That is insane right now. Rocket does 493 damage. Surgical just has to keep
now
cycling or defend that Expo right there. The Rocket goes in for the kill. For the win, Surgical takes this round.
So we've seen Expo versus Expo, and that was, 3 different matches to get 1 definitive victory. And finally here, we get a Rocket deck with the Miner chip, Princess chip, taking down the Expo of B Village.
I just love how Surgical has
He
exact
surgically
control.
plays the deck.
He is a surgical...
He's a surgeon.
Why is he
of
Surgical
this.
Why isn't he called Surgical Rocket?
The Goblin's, in my opinion, more like a menace, like a surgical, instigator. I think it's more, I don't know if it literally means Goblin, unless he started with a Goblin barrel or something.
Maybe Goblin means rocket in...
Netherlands?
Yes. That makes sense. Anyways, so they're going to be setting up for the second match right now. The scores are 1-1. This is going to be a best out of 5. These are the quarterfinals for everyone that's just tuning in right now. It's the finals of ESWC for the Paris Game Week with total grand prize right now of $10,000. First place being $5,000, second place being $2,500, third being $1,500, and fourth place being $1,000. Now these are the last 4 final contestants. All of them will walk away with at least $1,000.
Yep. Everyone is guaranteed something here on the main stage, and I'm just happy. I think we've seen Surgical move into his best deck. So there haven't been many people, or I don't think really anyone, who's been able to shut him down once he moved to this deck.
I haven't seen him lost with this Rocket deck yet. He just has so much control with it, and that I haven't seen him play that Inferno.
I haven't, but I haven't seen him play many Lava Hounds with the Rocket deck, so we have to see that because I want to see how he uses the Inferno.
And like I was saying earlier, how they have...
He didn't use the Inferno much.
Yeah, like I was saying with how these players just adapt on the fly, he realized that the Inferno provided no value just because...
They're starting up their next one here. Let's see what decks they're bringing in.
Yeah. Just, he knew that he had the Inferno counters. He had the guards to counter the Inferno, so he never needed to play that card.
All right, they're about to hit 10 Elixir right about now.
Surgical Goblin going in for an aggressive Ice Spirit push. And it doesn't even reach the tower because of the log. Now that Ice Spirit does deal about 100 damage, so that would have actually provided a lot of value for Surgical.
Now that we see minions, I kind of assume this is a Lava Hound deck.
It looks like it might be an Airfecta.
As soon as you see 3 minions, they're generally not paired with golems. They can be obviously used with a miner, but generally that deck has a minion horde, skeleton army, and goblin barrel.
Just like you said, there is a Lava Hound deck.
Alrighty,
that Princess.
Let's see if he brings. Do you think he'll bring a Tombstone with this one?
There is a possibility. We have seen the Lava Hound deck without the Tombstone for great success.
But
He goes into the Lightning.
Yeah, but one thing we always see is the Lightning spell, both resetting the Inferno, which is always used against the Lava Hound, and then becoming a clutch 346 damage game ender.
And look at those pups just deal so much damage to that Mega Minion. He has to turn around. That Knight already finished it off. That tower is going to pick off that Mega Minion right there just because the miner is sent in on the right side. Oh, B Village has a Lumberjack. We haven't seen that this entire tournament.
not paired with the Lava Hound. I don't even know what deck we would have seen it in either, but this is going to be interesting. Once this approaches double elixir and he gets that full Lava Hound push set up, if he does, that rage spell is going to make those pups a major
Surgical
problem.
hasn't played his rocket deck yet. With 25 seconds approaching into double elixir time, B Village is going to have a really strong push with a Lava Hound.
You can see him at 10 elixir. This is a great time to just pick on the tower a little bit and see what the answer is.
Now this is a very interesting composition he has here, because with the Lava Hound paired with the Lumberjack, which we rarely see, if that Lumberjack dies, it's going to rage the pups.
So he's still not playing. We saw a little bit in the preliminary rounds. He would just launch the rocket sometimes if there was literally no cards and he was sitting at 10. However, it might be more of a double elixir situation, and now that the skill tier of where we're playing at, these players could counter him too well if he did that.
Yeah, and on the bottom right, that miner that snuck in did get 2 shots off the tower. That's so much value for Surgical's playstyle right now. The pups do get quite a bit of hit on, but they get to go by the
quite
Princess.
a few hits on that tower as well.
Princess in the front, she takes
and the
one shot.
miner gets 3 hits with the 3 minions on top of him.
It's a very interesting playstyle how Surgical is always playing that Princess in the front just because she deals 140 damage. Surgical just needs to get that tower down to 493 because his 8th card is the rocket. Oh, going in for that rocket.
Goes out when he just sees nothing on and no immediate offensive threat. The rocket comes out, and it's just one more of those, a miner and a princess in my book.
Yeah, he's just so confident about that Lava Hound because he has an Inferno Tower. He plants on the left side because of the minion horde, and the Ice Spirit denies them completely.
Will we see the Lumberjack underneath, or how will this push end here? The rocket
Surgical
goes out. That's going to be game right there. I didn't even notice that tower was under 493, and that is game 2 to Surgical. Wow. He's so good with that deck. He's so good.
We haven't seen Surgical lose with this deck yet.
Oh my goodness. And it's not an easy deck. We both talked about this earlier. We've built it. I've tried it out. And you need so many games logged with it to understand when to use what.
The exact interactions of every card, when to use it, when not to use it, when to use it defensively, when to rocket the tower. As you noticed in the last game where he didn't rocket the tower until it was within that range, but this time he planted a little bit earlier because he's more confident with the Lava Hound.
Yep.
So,
and then if you guys are just tuning in, we've been seeing this a lot. The Inferno Tower against the wall, against a rear corner planted Lava Hound has been the play to make, and then the distance from the crown or the arena tower is what varies. So we're going to see a lot of precision Inferno placement.
So the score is 2-1 right now for best out of 5. Anything could happen right now. Surgical going in with that same rocket deck and the miner chipping away counters B Village's miner with a Mega Minion. And for that miner trade, Surgical's miner did do a lot more damage to his tower.
And Surgical's playing for a spot in the final 2. B Village is playing to stay in this match and not get kicked down to the 3rd and 4th bracket. So he has the Lava Hound deck again. He just sent the miner in as a preliminary chip, maybe a bad starting hand.
Interesting plant. He planted it 1 tile closer to the tower than he needed to, and possibly for that is because it has so much health, so it's going to tank for the pups.
We've seen that. If there's nothing backing a Lava Hound, look at this. The Inferno Tower not only kills the Lava Hound, it also tanks all the pups, denying any damage.
Oh, that Lumberjack locks onto that miner, so that miner is very distracted, providing almost no value. But that Ice Spirit did jump on that tower for 100 damage.
And that miner almost took that Lumberjack out where the rage means nothing. But either way, the miner goes to the side where the rage wouldn't have been deployed.
Surgical planning that Princess, again doing 140 chip damage. She goes in for another 140 damage on that tower for a total of 280.
And because of the Knight, he has to deploy a log after he just wanted to use minions because the minions were distracted by that Knight for so long. And he didn't want to get any more Princess shots.
That is just intense right now. So B Village is going in with a Lava Hound. 25 seconds into overtime. B Village could have a very strong push once he counters this miner.
And just looking at this, guys, if you look at Princess, Knight, Miner, Ice Spirit, that's 10 elixir. So basically, every full elixir bar, Surgical launches a Knight, Princess, Miner, Ice Spirit attack, ideally, and that's how he's able to chip these towers down to 493 or less. And then he just uses the Mega Minion defensively. It's almost like it seems easy, but it's not easy at all.
Look at that. He goes in for that miner and the Princess. The Princess gets 1 shot off. The miner gets quite a lot. Is he going to ignore that miner? Because that miner is going to do over 500 damage. Just nuts right there. 1,006 health. that tower, if it gets within rocket range, B Village is going to be in trouble.
I'm just trying to, I was thinking about B Village's plan. This is what he tried to do last round, too. Minion Horde to take out the Inferno before the Hound was there. But Surgical can get right back to his Inferno if he needs to so quick.
Just such an intense match. He goes into the lightning, the pups do reach the tower, but Surgical plants that Mega Minion, one-shotting each pup. Going in for that miner, doing some damage, but 15 seconds left. Surgical plants that miner. And a rocket. He's so confident with that rocket going in, taking out that Mega Minion for a positive elixir trade.
Princess at the bridge, one shot, that's game. Yep, you knew it was coming, but that's all he needed to do. And 3 seconds left here. The Ice Spirit shutting down the Minion Horde for 2 seconds with 2 seconds left.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Surgical Goblin 3-1 against B Village.
Look at that crowd. A lot of these people are also seeing Clash Royale a lot of them are players out there, but I know that the stage has not been used for it yet, the entire event. This is pretty cool. There's that many people out there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean,
Wow.
we have a ton of you guys in chat, too. And I see a lot of GG Easies. It's so not easy, but he makes it look so easy.
He does make it look easy just because of the flawless plays and everything and
Yeah.
adapting to every single interaction. One thing that it was kind of interesting to me that B Village chose an all-air deck because now he had no grounds to answer to counter that miner. So that miner was always guaranteed at least 2 hits off of that tower.
Yeah, that was the...
I feel like that was a downfall of that last game, where if he had at least guards or something like
I was
that.
going to say, guards are one of the few things you could put down. You can do skeletons, but then obviously the princess shot could go with it, but the miner is never denied fully.
And you know what is really interesting that I just realized now is that we haven't seen a mini P.E.K.K.A played in this entire tournament.
No. Generally paired with,
Fire Spirits or something like that, but
Yeah.
it's usually really great to counterattack the miner and then go in with Fire Spirits to support it. And if you
That
can get at least
could-
one miner.
I feel like a mini P.E.K.K.A, Fire Spirit, Hog Rider, Goblin deck could almost be a good counter to this Rocket deck. Or even the Hog, Barb, Archer, or Hog, Princess, Barbarian deck with the Rocket. That would be a fun battle to watch, too.
All right, so tonight you versus Surgical with that theoretical deck. We'll see.
No. He offered me a friendly battle, I think, was it
Oh,
two
no,
nights ago, and I was like, I'm tired.
I'm jet lagged. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe after you win a tournament here.
Yeah.
So next up, coming on the stage, as you guys can see, they're
It's,
being introduced.
So it's gonna be Termisva versus Ming, and Ming was in the Shanghai tournament as well. He was the
Be ready for more Lava Hound.
Yep.
Right here, he's like, Lava Hound. That's all he had to say. And they're like, we love it. We love it. We want to see it. People are sitting in the aisle. They're so eager to see some hounds.
So that's just ridiculous. Ming was the Shanghai winner.
Whoa, and look at, they have red and blue on respectively. You
What?
should have red on. Look, I'm wearing blue and I'm on a blue chair.
Oh, I should have worn my blue orange juice shirt.
No, you need red. Because your chair's red. Mine's
Oh.
blue. Oh, man. See,
So-
look at the French casters, BFA and Dovahkiin. They're not matching either.
No, he has that blue king. But anyway, so
We got to have a little bit of fun in between them. Tell them about Term.
Termisva is from Spain, representing the country
Spain.
of Spain, and Ming is from China.
Representing the country Spain.
Sure. So
Sure.
it's going to be a very interesting match. We haven't seen many Termisva's matches so far.
No. Yeah, we saw him here, but when we were casting, it was random. When it was the 32 people events the previous 2 days, which most of you were slackers and didn't tune in for because apparently you need an in-game notification to catch anything. But anyway, they were playing here, and he never was really featured here, but he made the top 4.
He did.
And then he was in the bracket.
He's kinda
We saw one round from him in the bracket.
He's kind of slithered his way to the top.
Yeah, you could almost say he's like a...
Slytherin.
I was trying to find a Clash Royale troop that slithers.
They need a snake troop now. That's actually a good idea.
4 new cards. Sneak peek number 2. Check it out. We're jumping in. We've got Ming on top, Term on the bottom. Term is going to be blue, and Ming is going to be red here. We're starting off with archers in the center.
Look at that Ice Spirit. Go for that Archer. The rocket going in. Does it take the Mega Minion? It
So-
takes everything out.
That's valuable. I was going to say, even if you catch one archer. Oh, man. So we're seeing archers, Tombstone, Mega Minion. It could be a Telltale Golem deck up top, but we'll have to wait and see. And then on the bottom, the Minor Rocket.
There you go.
I
Nick
mean-
and Knight here with the 15th prediction of the day.
I thought the 15th was my last one.
16th.
16th.
That's
keeping
actually a
track?
16th. I'm not making that number up. So, anyways, the Golem is going in hot. As you guys have noticed, that oh my god, look at the log. It takes out that tombstone and the skeletons that spawn with it. Just such tech right there.
That's one of your favorite plays that you see people make. As soon as the tombstone's below half health, they drop the log, and because of its still sort of slow roll speed, takes out the spawn skeletons.
It's just a remarkable play. Such high-level tech in these matches right now. Now look at that skeleton bypassing, or the golem bypassing that Inferno Tower. The death damage of those golemites are going to chip away at that tower.
We've been seeing golems have difficulty with Inferno, but that one just kind of marched his way to the tower.
Yeah. Look at the log right there. It's going to clip both archers. It clips them. The guard jab at them, and that lumberjack is just tanking at that Mega Minion.
So the lumberjack we have not seen much.
And that Mega Minion got one hit off that tower.
Wow. That was the lumberjack again. We have not seen a lumberjack in this golem deck.
Wow, it looks like B Village was playing that lumberjack last, and now Ming from the top is playing the lumberjack.
Let's see what his last card is. It would make sense to be arrows.
Look at Termisfa just
Because
aggressively
there's
going
nothing
in for that.
for him to arrow.
And going back to this, Termisfa knows what Ming's deck is. Just because he has a golem, he's comfortable with using a rocket just to delay it so they can cycle back to his Inferno Tower.
On the arrows go out for Term as well.
They're very interesting arrows because what he did there was he took out the tombstone early just so that he could plant that Inferno Tower to take it out earlier so that there would be no skeletons distracting it.
And let's see, those archers are pretty far behind, but that's what he wants. The baby dragon and the Mega Minion on top of this golem as it comes in. The archers, even with a sliver of health, are still going to do hundreds of damage, so the arrows have to be deployed again. It was a zap, not arrows as the final card.
Look at that precise placement of the Inferno Tower from Permisfa that the golem might split into both lanes. That lumberjack's doing a lot of work to that Inferno Tower,
So we see the almost same, a very similar rocket cycle deck from Term, except no princess and guards.
10 seconds left. That golem's going in hot. That Mega Minion's going to be hitting it very hard. The golem might explode, but the miner goes on the top
it hits
side.
the lumberjack though. That could have been. All he needs is a zap and rocket.
Ming's health is at 533, so that rocket is not enough to take it out.
Rocket log.
But he does have the log or arrows to take out the tower. So there we go. Termisfa for the first win of the match for best out of 5.
And from a player we literally didn't know much about, taking the first one, it was pretty close. It was maybe one or so golem pushes away. Only a couple hundred health, maybe 600 on that tower.
That golem was dealing a lot of damage in that one big push.
Normally the golem, he had lightning and zap because he knew the Infernos have been giving golems a hard time.
Yeah.
2 different resets.
It's really interesting with Termisfa. It looks like he intentionally let that golem go through because he just wanted to cycle back to the rocket.
Yeah.
Just these precise plays right here, just really intense.
Pretty insane, but we've seen rockets now take the last couple. But I mean, it's not just the rocket because I think he landed like 3 rockets on that tower.
He did, and
so the majority's done with Miner and Mega Minion.
And it's not just as easy as sending a rocket in. These players are counting cards, they're counting elixir, they're counting card rotation. So it's not just sending the rocket there, it's very heavily calculated. Knowing that the golem was out of rotation, or that the last time he knew that Ming was gonna play that rocket or that golem, so he was comfortable playing it.
Yeah, he sees him set up with the tombstone and all that, and then he gets the rocket out.
My favorite play part of that was when he used arrows to prematurely pop the tombstone, just so that his Inferno Tower could address the golem immediately.
Yeah, the skeletons all beat it to the bridge, and then it's nothing trickling in, so that when you zap, you don't have skeletons being retargeted by the Inferno, slowing down the golem's ability to be taken out. But this is heating up nicely.
A reoccurring theme I've seen is the golem just winning a lot of the matches, but we haven't seen that quite yet, so they're jumping into the second match.
I could see Ming go with his Lava Hound deck that he loves and knows and is amazing at. Let's see.
So Ming going in with Tombstone again.
Oh, man.
Tombstone and Knight pressuring on the right side.
Not a common card in a Lava Hound deck, the Knight, but we'll see what goes on. He's sticking with the golem.
So with that golem, Termisfa is comfortable using a rocket already on that tower. Most likely he has an Inferno Tower already in rotation.
And you can see even with the rocket, because of how expensive the golem is, he's going to hit 10 elixir again first. Let's see how he defends this one. The Inferno Tower placement is a little far. See, the Mega Minion is not going to go for it now, so that's going to make a big difference.
That lightning hit that miner from the last second, and so that Mega Minion had to be addressed with another Mega Minion. Wow. Look at that golem just going in hot. If that explodes on the tower, it's going to deal 100 damage, a couple hundred damage right there. Takes out the guard shield. The golem might's punching in right there with that death damage is so deadly. 300
if you're Term, I think you have to pull that golem closer with the Inferno and not let any troops following up go straight to your tower.
Yeah, so that rocket in the beginning was a little costly, and it didn't put him quite ahead yet. The common theme that we're seeing right now is that Tombstone is always deployed before the golem. Right there, we see the golem after the Tombstone is on the map.
Yeah, it's nice to mix in minuscule skeletons with the world's largest rock troop.
Just look how slow that it's walking right now. 15 seconds until double elixir time. Look at that
Oh,
raw going
there
into
it
the
is.
value. Taking out the spawn
Once again.
skeletons.
And I think that's one tile closer. So, but look at that. The Mega Minion, it needs to be up a tile. The Mega Minion's still
locked onto the tower. The tower's locked into the golem. 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits. Takes out the tower with 1 minute left into overtime.
And the golem going for the invisible tower, making his way back to the path with his really strong pull to it right there.
That is some insane play right now. Ming's golem push went through for the second.
Wow, that miner, we can't ignore the fact that miner just hit over, I think it was 4 times or more right there. And now there's not many options for Term,
Now,
especially with that golem tanking both towers. Look at this, Archer and Knight on the right arena tower.
that one Knight has to be addressed with that Mega Minion, so that Knight's still doing some damage to the tower, distracted by the guards.
I'm glad that we saw that golem figure out a way to make it and take out. But look at this. This could go into overtime here.
He just needs to use the log on the tower to take it out. He might be...
The only good thing going on here, though, is since he has to take out the tower, look at this offensive push coming in.
Termisva doesn't have enough elixir with an Inferno Tower, so that golem's going to be dealing a lot of damage, tanking for that Mega Minion coming in, but he has guards to distract a little bit.
That's game. That's
Right
the
there.
classic example of you have to take out the tower to make it to overtime, which expends all your elixir. Therefore, you have nothing to defend. It puts the I guess, I don't know, in the hands of the attacker. It's more beneficial that.
Yeah. And one of the craziest plays I saw, I'm not sure if this, I can't say if he was thinking that this was going to be a prediction, but when Ming used that lightning on that Inferno Tower, that was when Termisva used the miner. As soon as it popped up, the lightning targeted that miner as a second target, taking it out for the Mega Minion. And that was the hugest play of the day for a positive elixir trade. Getting him.
Yeah, I think the Mega Minion was swinging at it too, maybe, and it just swooped it. Because I don't know if was the lightning.
The lightning did target the miner right as he popped up.
Would it fully kill it though?
It didn't kill it.
Yeah, so the Mega Minion just goes boom, you're out of here, and then goes straight to the
Yep.
tower, and then he just ripped it to pieces. So we're jumping into the next one here.
So the score is 1-1 right now for a best of 5.
And it looks like we're still going to see Golem because of the archers. And then
Right you are.
Term switches to Lava Hound. That doesn't count as a prediction. It was too easy.
Yeah.
The Mega Minion's benefit here, oh, the tower does. Aggro onto him. Look at the shadows. You can see it was about a quarter of a tile ahead. The skeletons almost slowed it down enough to stay behind the Lava Hound.
Just look at that Lava Hound dealing 1 Spear Goblin's worth of damage, and the pup dealing even more damage. With that miner tanking, is that pup, that one pup, look at that one pup in the bottom right corner, bottom left corner, dealing so much damage.
Dealing almost 50,
Yeah.
little fireball that it shoots out.
Meanwhile, on the bottom left side, look at that one cute little skeleton just,
He
he's
doesn't
been there the
die
whole
from
time.
The skeleton doesn't go down from a Golemite pop. That's pretty cool. But 2 archers can deal hundreds, which is why minions are needed to address them.
That one minion's going to get 1 hit off the tower, maybe even 2 hits. He does get 2 hits off. That's going to be a lot of value for Termisva right now. Playing an all-air deck, Mega Minion, Lava Hound, and minions.
It's scary on both fronts because neither of them have an Inferno Tower. They both have a Tombstone to pull a Hound and a Golem. So there's going to be some tower damage in every push unless something goes wrong.
I just love how the Golem decks incorporate a Baby Dragon, and it's been proven to work. I mean, obviously these guys have played hundreds of matches.
You can see that the Tombstone is quite literally the only thing you would arrow just to get the skeletons out early. With the Mega Minion, Baby Dragon, and Archers, it's a bad deck to have arrows in.
Looks
the
like
Lava Hound one.
the Lava Hound and the Golem just don't care, and they just walk past each other.
And the Baby Dragon didn't care about that Lava Hound.
Very interesting. Termisva doesn't have any buildings to kind of pull that Golem again. But
Another Tombstone.
Golem on the bottom left, and the pups pop in the top.
And the Baby Dragon's on the tower. That's
Look at
going
that
to
Golem.
be done. Wow.
That Golem's death damage took out that tower.
The Baby Dragon had a sliver of health after all that. That was a really clutch path that Baby Dragon took.
35 seconds left, and it's going to be very hard for Termisva to do this. He's going to have one really big Lava Hound push to take the game for this. Or defend on, and he has to worry about defending on the right side. He doesn't have an Inferno Tower, but a Tombstone, so it's going to be a little bit harder to take on the Golem.
So if any of you are watching and wondering, hey, what can I use in an upcoming Grand Challenge or Classic Challenge or any friendly battle, this Golem deck that we're seeing up top, I think this one without the Lumberjack is actually
3 seconds left.
super solid.
2 seconds. The pups are not enough to take out the tower on the left side.
So after a rocket victory from Term, Ming responds with 2 consecutive Golem victories. And now he's 1 win from taking on Surgical for $5,000.
That's really intense right now,
Yeah.
which is really interesting because the first 2 matches they played the same decks, and they both won once with the deck. So right now it's 2-1 for Ming for best out of 5.
It's going to be interesting, but we saw earlier on Ming and Hanzi both playing the exact same Lava Hound deck, and Ming was able to outplay because he's just so good at it.
Yeah,
he took Hanzi, also from China, and they both used Lava Hound decks for the majority of that. So
it's no coincidence that Ming has ranked #1 in the Shanghai tournament, and he's in the quarterfinals for right now. So we're going to be jumping into the match. Both of them going to be saving up until 10 Elixir. Let's see who makes the first move. Ice Spirit in the back with Termisva.
Archers split up, and then starting with the minor chip.
Look at the rocket. Everything. Oh, no. If that Ice Spirit did not freeze that Archer, it would have taken out the Archer as well.
That's funny. You never say, man, why did my Ice Spirit have to freeze that?
Yep.
Golem coming out because he's sitting at full Elixir. It's pretty crazy these days that you can rock a Golem and a Lightning spell and feel okay with that heavy of attack.
Termisva playing an Ice Golem again with an Inferno Tower. He's going to pull that. The Mega Minion's going to get distracted by the Ice Golem. So much value for 2 Elixir. Not even the Ice Golem gets distracted. The guards distract the Mega Minion. And then that Ice Golem pops, slowing down the Mega Minion for 35%.
Archer's trying to pick on that one guard across the bridge there.
Archer's going to do so much damage to that Mega Minion right now. But he does survive with the Miner tanking that sliver of health. Is he going to make it to the tower? He is not, because that Knight took out the Miner.
I think he's using the Knight just because every Elixir with this big of a deck and these pushes counts, and you're going to save 1 over a mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah.
Because I've frequently seen Golem mini P.E.K.K.A. decks.
And look at the Ice Golem just tank that Knight right there.
They're playing Ring Around the River, and the Knight
hiding
is
that
just
Knight so
going
effectively.
all the way back. He can use that Knight in his second push. The Knight's like, hey, skeletons, let's go this way.
Termisva knows that he has a Golem, so he's comfortable rocketing it because he does have an Inferno Tower this time. But look at that Knight deal so much damage to that tower.
That Knight just went on a grand tour of the arena. It started off in the back tower on the left side, walked all the way around.
Doing a full U-turn circle.
Yeah. And then a 180 after the
that Knight
Golem.
was value.
If we're talking length of lifespan on the arena, then definitely the Mega Minion's not dead. So he has to put an Ice Golem down.
That Ice Golem's death damage took out that Mega Minion. That Golem's still up there. It's dealing quite a bit of damage. Ming putting down that Golem on the right side, but Termisva's really...
Oh, the Knight's 1 tile from just taking the aggro from that Miner, which cost him 200 damage. But we just saw 1 Golem push from Ming, and he took his tower down lower than double rockets on his own tower.
It's a very dangerous play. Look at the placement of those guards that Termisva did. Takes out the archers. Hopefully it's going to tank for one of the Mega Minion.
There's the Baby Dragon finally making an appearance.
Right there, 634 on the top. It's not enough.
He tries to get the rocket. I think that's going to be late. Yep.
You have to aim for the shadow, but it was a little bit slow.
Baby Dragon's just a speed demon these days. The Ice Golem was an attempted pull, and now it's just kind of wasted, but it can go take out the tower.
Now Termisva is going to try and chip away at that Miner, going in on the right side, very risky for the win right there.
Wow, so we've seen it work both ways. We've seen the rocket take it out. We've seen the Golem come back and be dominant, so...
Such close plays. Right now the score is 2-2. Both of them competing to be into the finals.
Yeah, the final 2. One of them's going to be playing Surgical. One of them is going to be playing B.
Yep.
It's going to be pretty close, but I don't know if either of them have to change their decks because they're proving that they can win. It's just circumstantial upon specific plays in that match.
Yep.
I don't know. I just don't know why. I feel like Miners are so difficult to have full, like a full counter. I haven't seen a Miner get denied fully. I'd say about 70% of the time they're getting shots on that tower. It's
Yep.
tough.
Just it's always going through. There's no guards. It's always air units such as the Mega Minion taking it out.
And you're like, okay, maybe I could set up my next push, but when you have a golem deck that you have to get down, it's not that easy. It's tough. That's why these rocket decks with the miner, man. That's good. That's good sportsmanship. In the chat right now, we've got Term. He's requesting the next friendly, and it says, Ming, good luck, bro. They're tied 2-2. That's what you want to see.
So the winner of this match is going to go into the finals, and the loser of this match is going to go into the losers bracket to face off against B Village, I believe.
The losers bracket, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So
This
right
is
now,
going to be intense.
Termisva's queuing up for a match, and looks like Ming is...
Ming might have changed something. He was a little bit late to accept.
Going into that match, they're both going to be sitting at 10 elixir. First move with a Goblin Barrel from Ming. We haven't seen that so
Ming
far.
Definitely spicing things up. So I think he's got the Skeleton Army, Mega Minion, or not Mega Minion, sorry, Minion Horde, Goblin Barrel, that bait deck.
Look at those guards just shave away at all those
There's the
skeletons.
Minion Horde. This is the dirty push, the Minion Horde plus
But
the Skeleton Army.
That being said, that miner in the back does do full damage. The full 500 damage that it did because it didn't get hit by anything. And look at those minions just sneaking its way past. He had to use the miner. That's quite a bit of
the
damage.
Princess in here. This deck is real. If you're not ready for it, it's
And
really
the log
dirty.
misses the princess.
Oh, she's planted where the same spot you'd place a furnace is, and you can't hit both. You have to pick one or the other right there.
Yep. Princess does shave off the shield, so the tower is going to be able to take it out a little bit easier. Goblin Barrel and Skeleton Army. That's asking for a log right now.
So
But look at the goblins just stab away at the tower.
If this were post-update, all those skeletons would be dead.
Look at those skeletons just take away all the damage from the tower. 204. That's one princess and one log to
But
take out the
imagine
tower.
how different that could be just a few days from now. That tower would still have maybe 500 health.
Yeah, that's right, because the Ice Golem's death damage is increasing. Look at the miner going in.
It's just an endless onslaught right now.
Miner going in on the right side, a minute and a half into the game. Termisva is going to have to pull something really hard to take out of the tower. Or Termisva just has to defend for the next minute. And Ming is going to have to pull something really hard. A really lucky miner minion horde could sneak by possibly. Anything could happen right now, but he goes in for that Goblin Barrel.
Yeah, Ming's the one who's putting the pressure on with the Goblin Barrels, so Term has to find a way to get enough rockets to that tower, which is going to be difficult.
And just look at that log shave away at all the shields, turning those into skeletons. Splitting the minion horde to go on for that Mega Minion, and then the Ice Golem. Mirror card!
What?
So much pressure.
Super Minion Horde coming in, and then a Skeleton Army. What a cool deck we are seeing right now.
Unless Termisva has arrows, it's going to be a lot of minion horde damage. The Ice Spirit does free some of them, but the Goblin Barrel goes in for so much damage.
And he's back to the Minion Horde again. This is insanity right there. Look at him just calm, cool, and collect right there, just sending in so much pressure. And he's got the second tower of Term down as low as his tower's first tower.
Skeleton Army planted a little bit late. It did clip a little bit. That rocket does take out the tower,
It's going to go into overtime, but I don't think the overtime's going to last very long here.
10 seconds left. That miner is on a tower. Takes
Boom.
it out. There's no way that Ming is going to... Or no way that Termisva is going to be able to recover from this.
Yeah, and it ends right there. I thought as he was shooting that rocket, we were closer to overtime. There's like, I think, a 1 or 2 second here, so I'm looking at your screen most of the time lately. Dang. Ming moving on to the final.
Ming guaranteed
Surgical.
2,500. Ming and Surgical guaranteed 2,500. They're
Or
competing for
$5,000.
$5,000 today.
And the title of a winner of ESWC's first Clash Royale Paris Games Week eSport tournament.
And like you said earlier, it's not about the cash, it's about the title that your grandchildren...
They will etch that everywhere growing up. There'll be a statue erected in their city center, and Clash Royale will eventually consider the option of adding you as a future unit to the game.
Yep.
Or a trainer.
Their firstborn will be named ESWC. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. Ming, a man of few words, but many a minion.
Yep. Ming winning the Shanghai tournament. Now he qualifies into the final bracket. Let's see how he's going to do against Surgical.
I gotta think we're gonna watch 3 and 4 first, right? We're not gonna just watch the first place and then
No.
go to that. So we're gonna see who's gonna be taking home 1,000 and 1,500, and then Surgical and Ming will come back out, and we'll see how this goes. So there's B Village, and there is Term. Yeah, sorry. The names, it's so weird because we haven't seen Term this whole tournament. He's made it to the Final Four. Good for him.
Yeah, so Termisva in the blue sweater right there on the left side, and B Village on the right side with that gray sweater.
And he's saying something in French.
Yep.
Lowers the mic. Hey, put that phone away. Oh, we're supposed to cast right now. Wait, who's in the final? I don't know. Are we? Which bracket are we broadcasting? I don't know. Check my phone later. All right. Well, I don't even think we're on camera right now, so that's good because I'm charging my phone. So yeah, me too. Sorry.
So B Village and Termisva are competing for $1,500 and $1,000 right now. They're both guaranteed $1,000. Let's see how this match is going to go for best of 5.
Best of 5. Man. Our area is being cleared out. It's Sunday. The Paris Games Week Expo goes on till tomorrow, but all the finals and all the championships are taking place this afternoon. So it's been one heck of a ride. Voices are on the way out. Many hours have led to this. I'm just really pumped to see everyone. Thank you for the lulls at the little commentary. The dubs. We'll keep the dubs going. He's not charging. I know he's plugging it into the display. That's what he had set up right there.
Yeah. So, losers bracket is still going to be very heated. These are the best of the best. For the people tuning in, let's explain how these guys qualified.
Oh, once again, 128 players.
And where did they come from?
Oh my gosh, there was like a 1,000-player tournament, and like a dozen or so people came from that.
Yeah, there's about 10,000 player tournaments in game, and of those top players, 128 qualified to compete in 4 groups here.
Yep.
Each group being 32 players, and of those 4 groups, 4 of the best players of those 32 groups qualified for the finals that you see today.
Yeah, via a Swiss bracket style where if you won, you went on to play other winners. If you lost, you played people a little bit closer to your ranking, and only 4 would move on. So it was basically mostly undefeated people and people with only 1 loss, which is why this Final 16 today was already elite players. But the Final 4 of the Final 16, that's elite squared.
Elite of the elite. I'd say elite to the power of 5.
You're going to skip cubed and go straight to the 5th?
Yeah.
All right. Whatever, OJ. Go do some more math. Tell me the percentage of a golden chest in Arena 7 of giving me a legendary.
Less than 1%.
Oh, wow. All right. What about Arena 4?
Now you're getting too complicated.
There's only like, what, 2 legendaries down
Just
there?
ask me Arena 9. I can't do any of those ones. But anyways.
Yeah. On the spot. Yeah.
Looks like there are...
Oh, we're starting.
Going into the match, Termisva versus B Village for the loose bracket.
It's the best of 5, and it's for 3rd place is what they're playing for right now. All right.
Termisva going in with that miner on the right side. Does some chip damage. That guard does some pokey damage right there.
Pokey damage?
Called out. So
I choose you, miner. Or guard.
So look at that Ice Speeder. It's going to freeze those minions right there, and it's going to get chipped out by that arena tower. Mega Minion played in the back. That's perfect because Termisva has a Lava Hound. Oh, he has an Expo!
So he decides to just put it right underneath the Lava Hound, and the Ice Golem's going to tank a good bit from the Mega Minion.
And the guards
get deployed, distracting the Mega Minion even longer.
Look at that. The Expo's doing over 1,000 damage right now. It's still up. That Lava Hound was locked onto the Expo, but it does 1 Spear Goblin's worth of damage.
This is going to be interesting to see. An Expo versus a Lava Hound deck, you just kind of have to just take your Expo and shoot it right underneath all those air units and then defend it long enough to do more than the Hound push coming at you.
This could mean a lot of trouble right now, especially with Termisva playing a mostly air deck. He's not going to have a lot of answers to that Expo.
You can see a very conservative tombstone is placed so that those skeletons can trickle out, but if it's not in front of the arena tower, the Expo only has to take out 2 skeletons, then they can just lock on the arena tower.
Yep. Just look at that Expo again. It's going to start...
Yeah, watch. It's going to take out a couple skeletons and go right to the arena tower.
Termisva playing Lightning for the first time. Now it's still locked onto the tower. Even though it got Lightning, it's still going to start hitting the tower. So much damage. That Mega Minion is quite slow. Look at that. 454. It is within rocket damage if B Village is running another rocket.
Yes, it is. And the other thing is, with this Expo deck, he could very well have, like, Inferno Tower Fireball.
That's right.
We haven't even seen it yet. So if he just is comfortable with the damage he's dealt, just start defending this Hound with everything you've got, and let's see how that plays out.
And just look at the perfect placements of all of these players right now. exact tile placements of all of these
There's
cards.
the Inferno, there's the Expo, where's the Fireball? So the Expo is going to make it so his Hound is unassisted.
But look at that minion just chipping away at that Expo, so it's going to finish it off before it can do too much damage, but he's going to counter all those pups with the Ice Golem.
Wow, whatever his last card is, he feels confident enough to just defend with troops and not even have to send it out right there. So there's another Hound. The Expo's going to go down to try to finish off this tower. It's going to have to go through a Tombstone, though. And there's the Fireball.
There it is, just like you said, the Fireball. Now the Fireball does 276 damage to the tower. It is within Fireball range, and with those 2 Tombstones, it did just fight. Oh, the Expo locked into the tower, takes it out!
It got through all those skeletons.
If that Mega Minion can get to the tower, there's 3 seconds left, the pups pop, but he protects everything with the guards, defending for the victory.
I have to say, that was a pretty good Expo execution right there against the Lava Hound, especially when there were 2 Tombstones down. It had to take the onslaught of skeletons and a full Tombstone out before it could lock the tower. It got just enough.
That was the first time that we saw Fireball played in that whole match, just because he couldn't justify using it until there were 2 Tombstones back to back. It was just so intense, where Termisfa never gave him an opportunity to use a value Fireball.
And that's one of the standard, that's a good Expo deck when you get the Ice Spirit, the Ice Golem. Guards are being used more and more over Skeleton Army because more and more Logs or even Zaps or Princesses and those Rocket Cycle decks are kind of taking him out quick. But Inferno Tower and Expo, definitely rough. I'm just reading some of your guys' comments here. I don't know. I feel like if he wasn't ready that first Expo, when there was a Hound and a Mega Minion down, he had so much Elixir already just invested right there, and then it came down, and then the guards held up, or the Ice Golem, and then guards held up the Mega Minion. That set the tone for him to just finish off that tower over the last little bit of time.
And Termisfa just didn't know he had a Fireball, so he did place the Tombstones back to back.
Yeah. I wonder.
Like, again, they are card counting each other, and they know each other's card rotations, Elixir, and everything, but Termisfa didn't know what his 8th card was.
Yeah.
So maybe that was a tricky play. And the Fireball taking everything out, it allowed that Expo to lock on to the tower.
There's been a good amount of Expo decks with Rocket, but more and more it's coming down to Fireball because these players are able to get it really close and then just barely finish it off with Fireball. So we're jumping into the next one, and we're going to see who's changing decks and who's not. Term's going to be on top, B Village on the bottom, and let's see what they've got.
So B Village has the first victory for the match out of 5. Look at the Goblin Barrel planted
Really
in the back.
deep.
The arrow prediction fails.
I'm surprised he didn't see that. That was significantly past the tower.
The arrows are a little bit slower, so he did have to use guards to defend against the Goblin Barrel.
An Elixir Collector.
Wow.
And the Rocket is drawn out. It's like
B Village is using an Elixir Collector to lure out that Rocket.
But if Term hadn't switched from the Lava Hound, that's very interesting because it's like he thought he would go to a Rocket deck to counter his Expo and then brought a Elixir Collector to draw the Rocket from the next deck.
That's exactly what happened because they're countering each other's counters to their counter.
You got a quadruple counter to even have a chance of being ahead.
Look at that bowler just go in for one bullet, just go in for another. He goes in for the second whole wheat for the tower. That's quite a bit of damage, especially in these close plays. That one extra hit could mean the entire game.
And then a delay 2 stabs before the log comes down.
37 seconds left until
overtime. Assume that
overtime.
Elixir Collector.
Skeleton Army. He's running a bait deck, an absolute bait deck. Minion Horde, Skeleton Army, Goblin Barrel to bait out everything, and then Elixir Collector to bait out the Rocket.
It's interesting how he's going to take out the bowler. Yeah, the miner just to have him bowl off to the side as soon as he's within range of the tower there.
And just look at that. Termisfa adjusted by not rocketing that Elixir Collector.
Great good value out of those arrows.
Yeah.
Finishing off the miner and taking out the horde. And now he has the rocket up for whatever he chooses. The only problem is it's tough to justify when if you throw a rocket, you could have a minion horde Goblin Barrel coming right back at you.
Right now into double Elixir overtime. Let's see what they do. Goblin Barrel versus the Rocket. Corner plant on that Goblin Barrel, and the bowler misses it completely.
What?
But they don't make it to the tower.
Still a cool play.
Yeah,
that was still cool.
Those goblins were a little bit too fast for their own good.
The whole tournament, I've been saying, when are they going to throw some these crazy barrels. Throw us some surprises. And B is currently delivering on that.
And look at the Skeleton Army. Just take out the bowler. Despite it having that splash damage, it just got surrounded really hard. 30 seconds left. Goblin Barrel versus
Once
Rocket.
again, deep.
Princess.
And the log misses. He's got to be knowing that that's coming now. He logs and arrows that. Now just send in the minions or Skeleton Army. Or minions would be better.
188. Log takes it out. Now he just needs to cycle
lightning.
back to the log or use a lightning. Just needs to defend against this push. It's going to be very close because Termissima does have a rocket. It is within rocket damage. It's going to take out the tower.
Lightning.
The Princess takes
Oh
they
my-
both take out the tower going into overtime. Wow.
2-1, and let's see how this plays out. That was an awesome way to enter overtime.
That was such a close play right there. Mega Minion going in slowly. If it's left ignored, it's going to swing once, and the Miner's going to support it, but the King Tower is activated. Mega Minion gets one hit off of the...
Wow,
looks like
that
the
miner
village.
just did a good amount of damage. And then the log at nothing.
Looks like the log was played a little bit slowly.
It could be a connection thing. It could just be a reaction time. We'll see how they feel going forward here. Bowler's coming in. The rocket's coming down, and it looks like they're done.
Looks like B Village isn't responding to that. The log...
I wonder if that log was way earlier and just didn't come out in time.
It did look like that log was a proper response to all of that, so...
With the skill B Village was demonstrating with those goblin barrels and
It was
the
such a close
plays
match
throughout.
that...
Technical issues in that one right there has just been confirmed. There's going to be a rematch, which those goblin barrel plays were so good.
Yep.
I wanted to see how that was going to end the first time, but we're going to have to go back into it, and it's going to be, what was it, 1-0B, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 1-0B. So we're going to be redoing the round 2.
Keep in mind when you're in these kind of stadiums where there are thousands and thousands of people in the same room,
Yeah.
where there's just so many cell phones and there's just so many connection issues. Even in Shanghai, where there's 500 players.
And 50 routers.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not even exaggerating about that. It's insane. You could see them all across the roof.
All
So
right.
we're going to be jumping into this rematch right here.
All right, everything's looking like good connection. Oh, the rocket goes out, and then the elixir collector is placed down. So I think...
If we can get that on full screen, then we can see the
Yeah.
score from B Village.
Oh, yeah, we got to get that full screen so everyone can see it a little better. It's a little small.
Going in again with that barrel, it's...
The rematch has to be the same deck because that's what they chose, and you don't want to like alter history by giving them an advantage to be able to change it to
so
something
it's
else.
full screen now. It is confirmed that B Village is at 1-0 still. But now it's going to be a little bit harder because B Village had that corner barrel up his sleeve, which he doesn't have anymore.
Minion Horde, beautiful, takes out the bowler, but it does get one bowl away, but the arrows are going to take some time to travel about half the arena right there. Princess, he's going to go with the Mega Minion. 2 elixir collectors down.
We haven't seen this yet. Mega Minion gets 1 hit off, 2 hits off, but B Village is going to take it up because B Village has 2 elixir collectors.
Yeah, he's going to say, you know what? I just successfully deployed 2 elixir collectors. You can hit my tower twice because there's about to be an onslaught of troops flying at you.
2 elixir collectors, 20 seconds into overtime. I'm going to send in 4 cards of minion hordes left and right.
Let's see. Skeleton Army, expect maybe some minions coming in, just literally anything he's got.
Look at that, the
Miner.
Goblin Barrel just dealing so much damage to the tower just because that log was played a little bit too early. He wanted too much value from the log to try and take out the Skeleton Army as well.
Miner, Minion Horde probably, or yeah, on that, because now he's got 2 things. He's got to arrow those, but then, if he does, that's going to be a good arrow.
Look at the value of those arrows right there. But that Mega Minion comes in for another swing, 2 swings, leaving that ignored.
Still, B's like, you can hit me twice. I still have 1 pump.
Yep.
It's double elixir.
That Skeleton, or that Goblin Barrel did get a couple stabs off of that tower, so it's at 96 health. Miner versus Miner on the right side.
Attempts to get the Miner and the tower, but he's going to run away.
501 health on the right side of the tower. It's not within rocket damage
Okay,
yet.
now he's probably regretting all those double Mega Minion swings he was allowing on his tower, because if this goes into overtime once again, he's significantly behind on the left side.
This is looking...
That's going to be within range of...
Now
my goodness!
Now that bottom right tower is within rocket range, takes it out, and he's at an advantage because the right side is taken down. So much pressure back and forth. Look at those arrows right there.
I got to give it to Term. He's really saving his arrows for that minion
He doesn't
horde.
have enough elixir to counter those goblin barrels until right there. He was sitting at 1 elixir when the goblin barrel landed, so he didn't have enough to play
he
that
wanted
log.
that princess to get a shot on that tower, and now the miner's not going to let her. His own miner goes in, and now we're seeing guards for the miner, which obviously they've been in the battle the whole time, but those last couple we were complaining a little bit that they weren't fully shutting down the miner. He's doing a good job now.
480, that goblin barrel just keeps stabbing at it. For 3 elixir, they're providing so much value. Rocket right there. Looks like Termisva is confident that he can defend and cycle. 200, 170 takes out the tower.
B Village doing it once again. Wow. That was good. What was his last card? Was it a rocket? Yeah.
It was a lightning.
Lightning on that. He'd used it. I feel like he used it in the one that was redone. Because weren't we talking about that? Yeah, he had the lightning, but he never brought it out till he didn't even use that card, I don't think, in that entire match. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was actually expecting a lightning to come up, but that minion
Interesting
horde
stuff.
just got through. There's so much to counter everything. There's the minion horde, the skeleton army, the princess, so many things to log, the goblin barrel. Oh, look at that. That's our first time seeing that trophy.
Where?
You missed it.
Oh,
What
man.
is it?
Oh, so right here, he did a really good job. And yeah. All right. There's a bunch of people coming back into our area over here. Interesting stuff.
Oh, and one last thing we haven't mentioned this whole tournament is that the graveyard is banned. Just because it's such a new card, not a lot of people will have it, so it's kind of an unfair advantage.
Yeah, we mentioned that at the start of each of the days, but everyone joining in just for the finals here. It hasn't been used. It doesn't have enough use time as well as ability to be found yet, so they decided to just not let it happen.
Yep.
So it's 2-0, right? B?
Yep.
All right, so B is currently 1 win away.
For best of 5, anything could happen. Termisva did play a very good game.
I mean, B's got it going on. He did lose to Surgical, but he took down Baby Dragon.
Baby
Right?
Star?
Oh, yeah, Baby Star, sorry.
He did.
Baby Dragon. The words are starting to blur. There's so many matches.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one earlier. Baby Star was only 1 matchup away from being in the Final Four. That was pretty close. Yeah.
Looks like they're just deciding the decks right now, but they will be hopping into the 3rd match. Hopefully not the final one. I would love to see Termisva come back from this.
Thank you for everyone giving some love in the chat. It's been fun. I'm NickatNyte, joined here with Yarn from Orange.
Orange juice.
Orangeons. B Village is requesting a friendly battle in Chinese. But Termisva somehow figures out what it says and accepts.
Oh, that's very interesting. Looks like he's bilingual. Trilingual, because he does speak English.
Yep. All right, let's get this kicking. We've got a princess.
And a bowler.
The rocket. So it's a
rocket going onto that bowler. It's going to deal a little bit of damage. That princess might actually lock onto the bowler and splash onto the tower. Let's see right there. Is that it does splash onto the tower for 140 damage. Look at that bowler with that sliver of health. It's not going to reach the tower unless there's a miner somewhere.
Musketeer. We have not seen a Musketeer in I don't even know how long in this tournament. So is this a giant bowler lightning Musketeer deck?
It is. That is your 16th prediction of this. You need to create a video for how to predict.
Well, I mean, we saw Bowler and Tombstone, but it's like we haven't seen that played this tournament. Let's see if he can make it work against this Rocket Cycle deck with an Ice Wizard now for the first time.
B Village compromised the arrows just so that he would clip the princess more than he would the skeleton army. Just so much value right there.
And then he has arrows, log, and lightning, so it's going to be quite a heavy hitter deck here in Double Elixir.
Surprisingly, we haven't seen as many Ice Wizards in this tournament.
That Rocket Cycle, it's a lot of defense between the Ice Spirit and Ice Wizard. That can shut down quite a bit.
We need to do a collaboration where you kind of teach everyone how to predict all of these things. It's insane. Your thought process on everything is just
on point. Did you want me to finish that? Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. I'm looking at that while you're analyzing the micro plays, and I think it's working out with a nice little synergy there.
It does. Look at that Ice Wizard just slow down that giant. Does he have a building to pull that giant? Termisva doesn't, but he does use a log. Look at that prediction log, taking out the skeleton army that giant goes through. Going for one punch, the Ice Spirit freezes it, goes in for another punch,
Wow.
so much damage. A giant, just because Termisva doesn't have a building to pull it.
And if he doesn't, what is he waiting for over there? What does he have?
What is his 8th card?
It could be arrows as well, because there's nothing to arrow in the giant bowler deck.
Termisva going really aggressive with that rocket right now. He's not going to have much to defend against this giant, but he does have 8 elixir right now.
Yeah, so he has to mount Ice Wizard. He's got to get the princess down, try to log it back, try to freeze it. It's a lot of steps to deal with without the tower. Now he's wishing he brought an Inferno instead
The
of
giant
that
gets
last
one
spell.
punch in. That is a lot of damage, plus the log. We're seeing
a
the hog for the
Rider.
first time.
Holding on to it with 17 seconds left, sends it in, doesn't get a hit off, but he's got a rocket. A rocket, it would need a log rocket and a princess
That's looking
shot.
very intense right now. The rocket goes in, the bowler goes in, the lightning for that tower. 5 seconds left. How is he going to counter this? Plants a giant there.
There's nothing.
There's a log goes in, and B Village takes the win for 1,500.
B Village 3-0, third place in the tournament with 2 decks that we have not seen played. I don't think the entire tournament.
That is insane.
We
B
know
Village,
the deck, but no one's been using that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then the Hog, Rocket, Ice Wizard. It was like a tweak on the other Hog variant with the Rocket. Yeah.
And that giant deck just really caught off Termisva because he hasn't been competing against that. It's not necessarily skill, but rather as rock paper scissors, where he guessed correctly.
And that's interesting because if it was a Golem or a Lava Hound, he still didn't have a defense, but he must have felt confident with what he did have.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So that is going to do it for the, I guess you could call it losers bracket, but it's just the third and fourth place bracket. They're both winners amongst the other 124 that aren't on that stage.
Even if I lost that match, I would still be happy for winning $1,000. That's a winner bracket to me.
Everyone's dropping some the chat. I haven't seen the interaction that went on as they got out of the seats there, but we're about to see the matchup of the Millennium, the Era,
The era.
the Age.
Okay.
I beat it. I got an Age.
So now we're going to be having the finals after this match.
Surgical. This guy is something else. But so is Ming. Has Surgical and Ming played at all? No, right?
They haven't.
That's interesting.
Because if they did play against each other in the qualifiers, one of them would have eliminated the other. Actually, no, they would have still placed number 1 and number 2 to be where they are now.
Wow. This is going to be more fun than mirroring a graveyard on a King Tower coming up here in just a few seconds.
The battle of the century. Ming versus Surgical Goblin, competing for $5,000 right now.
It is weird that people are commenting as well that we haven't seen more Giant, Bowler, Lightning. It is more of a ladder deck right now. The Rocket Cycle, Expo, Lava Hound, and Golem are the 4 main decks we've been seeing, as well as just Minor Control. Minor Furnace has also been pretty annoying with a Bowler in it as well. That's been doing some work in tournaments, but the main thing is these players, they're picking decks where every single card they can get so much value out of each one.
It's so scary. If you're playing and you see that miner coming in for 2 shovel hits, you already know that you're losing. Just even though you're able to kill it, it's just providing so much chip value.
And here's Chad bringing the guys in, just announcing with the pride of the country coming in.
Surgical versus Ming right there, followed behind Surgical.
They've both been on the stage before. They both conquered. Now it's just who's going to take this.
Surgical Goblin on the right. Look, he's a goblin wearing a green shirt.
That's got to be planned.
It absolutely is. And then Ming on the left side with a white sweater.
Does he have a red lining to the inside of his white sweater?
He does.
That's interesting that they put him on the red seat.
I want that white sweater.
Why?
It's
You have
nice.
a black sweater.
Yeah, it's a mirror it.
Oh.
Anyways, so these players are competing for $5,000. The loser will still win $2,500.
And a tornado card. Just kidding, but if you haven't seen the sneak peek, you can check it out on a channel near you. Just type NIC tornado. All right, we're going to be jumping into this one. This is the final. The creme de la creme.
It is the finals, the creme brulee of the match.
The egg and cheese.
The croissant.
The croissant. Well, today we had some good chocolate. Apparently it's, what's the word for bread? It's not called a chocolate croissant. It's like chocolate bread. Someone corrected me on Twitter. But it looks like a sloth sometimes. We're going to stop with all the funny remarks. We'll try to take this last one serious, but I can't promise too serious because it is the most ridiculous duel. Ridiculous. Everyone in the crowd, I don't know if you guys get that feed a little bit, but with our noise-canceling headsets, it's like...
I can feel the vibration right now. It's like...
It's just pulsating. Someone's going to get a collapsed lung out there right now. There is so much energy driving through the hearts and minds of the nation.
I can feel the excitement from my seat right now. It's a magnitude 4 earthquake.
Is that what that is?
Exactly.
Oh. Pan au chocolate? Chocolate? Okay, yeah. I got confirmation on that one. It's a little, butchered it a little bit, but thank you guys for tuning in.
So they're going to be very ready soon. They're just setting up the decks right now. And based on that cheering, it looks like they're going to be ready to jump into a match very soon.
Your brain is losing it after so much streaming.
We have been streaming for a total of 20 hours these past few days, but jumping into the first match of the final match for best of 5.
Bring that up on the screen. No, not them. I want to see the match.
No. The game's already starting. Ice Spirit going in counters the Fire Spirit
wave.
Oh
my gosh, it's your favorite card, the Furnace. You've said before that you would mirror rockets just to demise its existence. Let's see what happens here.
I hate dealing with the Furnace just because you cannot ignore it.
I don't think we've seen Ming using a Furnace, and what's Surgical going to do?
Now, what's really annoying about the Furnace is that if 2 Fire Spirits get through, it does 338 damage. That's more than a Fireball. And it's so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, if you get a Miner on the tower and then a couple Spirits come in, you just basically got Fireballed. And it could happen again.
Fireball does 276.
You basically just got Mirror Fireball, the level higher.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Look at that, we haven't seen a Royal Giant this whole play. He
yes,
plants down the Inferno
Giant's
Tower to
comeback.
counter that.
Oh man, the lightning spell goes down. The Royal Giant is really strong and underappreciated right now. There is so many different cards you can use right now in the meta. It's a great time to be alive. Oh, look at the Princess misses the Fire Spirit. Someone get her eyes checked.
So that Royal Giant did so much chip damage. With the lightning, it did over 1,000 damage. Not even in overtime yet.
Wow.
So Ming is at the top, and then Surgical Goblin being the blue player on the bottom. This is a very heated match.
Yeah, you could look at him right there on stage. Both looking just kind of calm and collected.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
One of them playing on the phone and one of them playing on an iPad. Surgical playing on the phone.
We used to jump into that way more earlier on in the weekend here. You were analyzing the shorter throw on the phone versus the multi-tap ability of an iPad and the precision that it offers dragging versus tapping.
It's actually a very real strategy. Yeah. So that Archer's going in, it does take a lot of damage from the Mega Minion. It's not going to be enough.
The Knight's good for what? 2 waves of Fire Spirits and a swing. That's about what he gets done right there.
Very, very tanky. He takes out that Furnace
That
for
was
value.
beautiful. And
now,
he's getting hit by both towers.
Now Ming does have enough elixir for a lightning. Is Surgical going to plant an Inferno that will be lightning very soon? Hoping to see that very soon. Right there, when it reaches tier 2 damage, takes it out.
He knows the Mega Minion's out of range, though.
1 hit on the tower. The Royal Giant only got 1 hit on the tower, but that's quite a bit.
This is scary because he's 2 lightnings at 346. When you double that tower will be down. But the problem is, can Surgical get it down to 1 rocket? I don't think so.
Ming goes in for that log right there. Does that guard gonna get 1 stab in? If it does not go through. Ming playing a Royal Giant very conservatively in the back.
Listen to that crowd. You can hear it roaring right now. People are getting hyped. The Inferno Tower is early, but he just has to avoid the lightning spell, but it still reaches. Okay, it was a little more than 2 lightning spells. It's 2 lightning spells and then that change
right now,
there.
363 health. That tower will not be able to be lightninged in 1 shot. Surgical going in with that minor play. We haven't seen Surgical use a rocket yet.
He's just good gaming.
Going in right there. Lightning for 17 health. And then he goes in for the log for the win.
That's going to be Ming game 1. Surgical unable to execute the rocket deck the way that he has been the entire weekend.
It looks like just with the skill cap or skill level of these players, they know the card rotation, their card count, card elixir. So Surgical Goblin knew that there was not a possibility for him to take out the towers. So that's why he said good game a little bit earlier.
Do you know why I'm worried?
Why is that?
Because Surgical couldn't execute a rocket deck against that Royal Giant deck, and they're starting another one, but Surgical's second deck we've seen him play is an Expo deck, which would be even worse.
Oh, that Royal Giant does hard counter this.
How is he going to make this work? Let's see.
It looks like Ming formulated this deck specifically to counter Surgical Goblin.
Not a certain card, a certain player.
Yes.
Is there a hard counter for Surgical Goblin?
To counter Surgical Goblin, you need a Royal Giant.
For a positive elixir trade.
Going again with that Royal Giant. Surgical Goblin.
It looks like he's got the same thing.
Let's see if Surgical Goblin adapts to this.
Maybe he just needs a few more Royal Giant pushes to master how he masters countering the lightning spell. Is that far enough?
We'll see right there. It does stun it. The Royal Giant
he
gets
avoids
through
the tower,
one
though.
hit.
He has to put it all the way in the middle at the water to avoid the lightning on the tower.
2 hits on the tower with that Royal Giant. But
Ming, I don't think Ming meant to put his furnace there.
he did use it to counter the miner.
Oh, what was the oops for then? Maybe he thought the lightning would hit the tower.
Look at the value of the rocket right there.
Wow. And that's just the kind of break that Surgical needs. I think Ming might have thought his lightning was reaching that tower.
Just look at the concentration of these players right now. It's getting very heated. 28 seconds until double elixir overtime. Ice Spirit counters the Ice Spirit by absorbing that. It's going to get taken out.
Splitting archers.
Surgical going in for that classic Princess play in the front, dealing 140 damage to the tower for slow and steady chip damage.
He's a good bit ahead, but with the Furnace and Royal Giant on the way, and the Lightning en route, what are you going to do here? Because that's going to be a quick catch-up for Ming.
Just so insane. Surgical is forced to use the Knight to just absorb the Fire Spirits, just because even one Fire Spirit deals 169 to the tower, so 688, he just playing that rocket back and forth.
And even though when he sees the Royal Giant in the back, Surgical's able to launch a rocket, Ming knows that Surgical's only counter is the Inferno, and if he puts his Royal Giant in the back, he can have Lightning ready when it gets to the bridge. You can play the Royal Giant slow because they don't have anything to take the action when they see it.
Another Royal Giant back in rotation.
Yeah, that last one was played in the back so long ago that he's already got it back.
Surgical doesn't even have an Inferno Tower to counter this, so he is forced to use log to push it back.
However, Rocket, and they're going into overtime. Let's see if he can defend 800 health.
That top left tower is within rocket damage, so this is looking like bad news for Ming because he does not have enough push to reach the tower.
Now Inferno.
6 seconds left.
Knight, maybe. Mega.
Lightning, 396. And that is going to be the game for Surgical using the same deck.
So Surgical just learns from his mistakes in the first one, comes back, barely beats the Royal Giant. What do you do if you're Ming? Do you try it one more time?
A post-game analysis of that where the first game was remember when Surgical planted it one tile too far to the right, so the Lightning got the Inferno Tower and that Arena Tower.
Yep.
Whereas he adapted on the fly and learned from his mistakes very evidently in this game.
We haven't seen too many Royal Giants, but earlier we saw Surgical within the same round or same match.
They are in the game right now.
Adjust an Inferno Tower for a Lava Hound mid-match and then ended up winning that one.
Yep.
That one took a full round or a full match for him to adjust, but he eventually got it down.
Just so insane right now.
They're just keeping these decks. They both think they could do it.
The skill of these players right now, just how adaptable they are with everything, just constantly adapting to each other. They're both very confident playing the same deck. Ming thinking the Royal Giant can counter, and Surgical thinking that the Rocket can bypass everything else.
Royal Giant's coming in. He's mixing it up this time. The Inferno Tower is on the wall. It's going to draw the Lightning spell out, and 2 Fire Spirits are going to hit that tower for the strength of a Fireball.
Stronger than a Fireball. 338 damage.
The mirrored Fireball.
The mirrored Fireball.
Oh, that's tough. 1,200 left on his tower, and the Miner is more like a full game commitment to take that tower down to rocketable level.
Again, he needs to absorb those Fire Spirits because they do mirror Fireball damage. So that Mega Minion is coming in hot. Does Surgical have an Ice Spirit or something inexpensive to counter it, or is he going to get 2 hits off of? He does use the Mega Minion.
All right, the pair of archers are going to get a nice log hitting the Fire Spirits as they come out. And a couple guards. Wow, that clipped quite a bit.
That was a value log right there. Just the precise placement of all of these cards, the timing and everything. Fire Spirit is one going to get into the tower? Never. Surgical will never let a Fire Spirit reach the tower.
The Knight's a good answer because it's not like your main component of shutting down a Royal Giant, so you could sacrifice him to go out like that.
And then look at that. Surgical planting the Princess, knowing that it's going to get taken out by the log, but he does not care. If that Ice Spirit reaches the tower, it does not.
I think he was just experimenting with that first Inferno placement. I don't think he's going to do it again because ever since he has denied all damage and He's almost caught back up to the 1,200 remaining on the tower. Here comes the next Royal Giant. This is right here. This push will determine how much... Oh, I don't think... What's that Knight
One
there?
Fire Spirit hitting the tower. Inferno Tower right there. It is out of lightning range, so Ming does have a lightning, only able to lightning that Inferno Tower.
That's something you don't really want to have to do, but look at that. The Royal Giant still chips it down with 100 and, I believe, 59 damage or so a shot.
And Royal Giant in the front.
The Inferno in the face.
How did they cycle back to the cards, back to back? Look at these decks, they're so flexible. And then Surgical going in for that pressure on the left. Miner getting 2 shovels in despite that Mega Minion bullying it really hard. 3 hits. 1071 health.
Quad spirits and an ice spirit in the middle. Tower deals with all that. The Mega Minion, you kind of just have to let that hit your tower. There's no way you're defending that right there. The Rocket goes down 578. It's still going to take 2 different spells at least.
At least a log and
Oh
a
yeah,
rocket
just
or a
log
miner.
Rocket will do it, but look at this.
He needs to focus on defending first. Once he cycles back, going in for that Miner.
Oh, that's almost it's more than a half health
This
Royal
is such
Giant.
a close match. The Royal Giant going in, 500 health, going in for that shot. 2 hits, uses the log. He's trying to delay back to the Rocket, but Surgical doesn't have enough elixir. That Royal Giant finishes the game.
He couldn't get back to the Rocket and the log. There was no way. That Royal Giant took out with the Lightning and Mega Minion the Inferno Tower and had over like 60% health left still.
There was just too much pressure from Ming for Surgical to afford that Rocket. Surgical did cycle back to that Rocket, but he didn't have enough elixir for that.
I feel like Ming really did his homework on knowing both of Surgical's decks in this tournament. He knew the Expo and the Rocket cycle, and it's proving to be a menace, the Royal Giant.
Yep.
He wouldn't whip that out against any other player here.
He would not, and he has been formulating these decks. Specifically, it's a deck to counter, not the Rocket deck, but to counter Surgical.
Yeah. And we haven't seen a Royal Giant dominate a series like this. It's literally Ming's ability to play Surgical right now, guys. It's not even the Royal Giant, because Surgical, I think he has to choose a third deck we haven't seen yet. I mean, maybe something like a Golem or a Miner Bowler or something like that, because this Royal Giant is just running reckless on him right now.
Surgical playing a completely different deck. We haven't seen him play Skeletons yet. Miner in there.
All right, we're in this match here. Yeah, we have not seen Skeletons from Surgical yet.
So the score right now is 2-1 for Ming. Both competing for a grand prize of $5,000 right now.
A Hog Ice Spirit against the Furnace. That's going to be an interesting interaction the entire game.
Surgical's playing a completely different deck from his Expo or his Rocket that we've seen in this tournament.
And he brings Skeletons. This is a quite cheap deck he's got going on here.
Very inexpensive. I wonder if Ming is still rocking that Royal Giant, or if he anticipated the counter to his counter.
Yeah, this is like just we are observing right now and watching the mastery unfold, and gonna see what happens here.
Look at that! The Ice Spirit and the Hog does not reach the tower with the placement of the log.
I don't know. Ming didn't have art. Did he have art? Yeah, he did, I guess. In Royal Giant deck, he had archers. Was there?
Yep.
Yeah, they weren't the most prevalent card in the deck, but definitely in there.
Fire Spirit's dealing some chip damage to that Mega Minion. It's not going to be able to...
No one's committing too hard right now. They're kind of just feeling it out. It's kind of scary, approaching double elixir time here with no like major commitments or full-blown pushes.
That's right.
Oh, you got to assume Hog Ice Spirit maybe coming in? No, Fire Spirit's... Oh, Royal Giant in the back.
He does have that Royal Giant. He hasn't been playing it because he hasn't seen Rocket yet.
Big push.
One hit off of the tower. They're both frozen. This is the Rocket, and he doesn't get another hit.
The Hog has only gotten one swing on each tower.
Again, using the lightning on the Inferno Tower, that Royal Giant's gonna bypass everything, get one shot off.
That just it doesn't sit right with me that a Royal Giant and lightning get through an Inferno so easily, but we just are about to see a reduction in Inferno.
It is a 12 elixir combo, so. And then Surgical using the lightning for the first time, taking out the Furnace.
Hog lightning, nice.
Miner going in on the right side. Look at the chip damage.
Oh, there we go. Surgical's getting it together now, getting in the groove.
Planting down a very well-placed Furnace to pull the Hog. Royal Giant, though, locks onto the tower and not the Inferno, so it's a little bit too late. The Skeletons did push the Royal Giant onto re-aggroing the Royal Giant with the Skeletons.
3 Skeletons shove Goliath back, looking up at him like, can you please target Inferno?
And then the Royal Giant going again. He doesn't have the Inferno in rotation quite yet.
Log Inferno? No logs. Skeletons, we couldn't see underneath the time remaining there.
Surgical doesn't have enough Elixir to play in an Inferno Tower yet.
Now we have to see his answer to the double Royal Giants.
He plants a Furnace 1 tile to the left, so the Hog, he didn't pig push. So that Hog goes straight to that tower. 1 hit on.
Wow, he gets a hit on it, and now he can take it out with lightning.
It's within lightning, that's right. Guards distracted, that's no big deal. Surgical just needs to cycle back with a log. Another lightning right there. I'm waiting for that, and he goes in!
Surgical, Hog Lightning, the man who's been playing Rocket Cycle with his minor chip and Expo, busts Hog Lightning out like he's been playing it the entire tournament.
These are the 2 best players of the tournament, especially the Swiss bracket that we've been using.
That is insane. It's just
2-2.
When did he have time to play 1,400 matches with that deck to get so good at it?
Wow.
And then, do you think he had it ready, or like was like, oh, it's a Royal Giant, I have to Hog Lightning?
I have no idea, but Surgical is ready to play right now. He could be playing his Expo deck, he could be playing his Hog Cycle Lightning deck, or he could be playing his Rocket deck. And Ming has to second guess himself if he is going to play the Royal Giants or not.
We're jumping into Spell Valley.
Spell Valley.
At 2-2, a beautiful arena, tie game. Let's see who's walking away. The ESWC 2016 Paris Games Week Clash Royale champion.
Hog going in straight to that Furnace. It wasn't pig pushed, but maybe Surgical did want that. Mega Minion doesn't even get any value, just gets sniped by the tower. Again with the Royal Giant.
Yeah, he loves putting it right. He put it behind the tower because he saw the miners start digging, but it was for the wrong tower.
Yeah. Royal Giant going in, supported with the Furnace. Surgical does have an Inferno Tower right there, just out of range of that lightning, so Ming has the lightning from there.
Oh. One of the coolest things that just... reload that. I've got my screen over here. We'll get that going. Royal Giant and Mega Minion doing massive damage. That tower is going to be going down right now. Oh my gosh, that Royal Giant Mega Minion was unanswered and it had too much health left.
This is looking like bad news for Surgical because Ming just has to play on the defensive right now, but there is 40 seconds left in overtime until overtime starts.
That's tough though, because with a Royal Giant, that's probably the best situation you could ever ask for, being able to deploy it in Surgical's base.
We haven't seen any of this scenarios happen yet where that Royal Giant has absolute lane control.
So he goes with the Hog towards the center, predicting a Furnace, but it's not deployed.
He drops
a good game. Look at this counter push coming. Royal Giant in the middle, Furnace.
This is going to be very stressful for Surgical right now because the Royal Giant could be planted at any time. I could expect it very soon once he has the Elixir. But now Surgical has to second guess himself and predict when the Royal Giant is going to be played so that he can play the Inferno Tower. Otherwise, it'll just be countered by guards.
This just goes to show how on point that last game he played was with this. If
guards there to counter the Inferno Tower, that Royal Giant goes and sneaks past it, snipes it away from there. Full health at Mega Minion.
Doesn't even need to use the lightning on it.
Surgical's Mega Minion dies to the Mega Minion. The tower is taken out. 1 hit, 2 swings, the tower's down. 30 seconds left. There's not much left to do.
Hanging out in double elixir as we approach overtime. It's not going to be in overtime on this one here. Surgical dropping good game. Looks like the only thing he really wanted was for Ming to reply. Finally gets the thumbs up.
Yep.
So these guys have played really well. This last match does not reflect the intensity that this entire series has brought.
That is intense right now.
I was going to say in the beginning, we kind of had a little disconnect on our screen. We had to reload it. And what I was going to say is, the funniest thing is, a Royal Giant or a Hog Lightning is going to win this tournament. And Ming just wins the tournament with a Royal Giant deck.
Takes the tournament for $5,000 right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Ming is the winner of the ESWC tournament.
He could win in Shanghai and he could win in Paris.
Winner of the Shanghai tournament, winner of the ESWC, beating Surgical Goblin by a very close match, 3-2.
Somebody get this guy a contract. He's probably one of the hottest Clash Royale players in the world right now. Not even probably, he is. Ming goes for it all the way. Surgical, well fought to second place. And the fact that he changed decks so dramatically at the end there, just insane that he was able to pull together that win with that Hog Lightning.
Just such an intense match. Ming definitely formulated that Royal Giant specifically for Surgical.
Right now, this interview looks hot right now. Ming finally has time to speak. He's like, give me the mic. I want to tell you guys about this Royal Giant. It's so good. He was holding onto this deck.
Keep dubbing, keep dubbing.
And then I just thought the Royal Giant will win the game. And you're right, it did win the game.
That's exactly what he said.
I don't want to dub because I'm not trying to poke fun. It's just funny because we don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's even being broadcasted to our viewers. We're just kind of here talking over it. You can sort of hear the arena, though. It's lit. Here you have your third and fourth place finishers.
Wow. So that, despite Surgical losing the finals, he still did place second place, winning $2,500.
Good for him.
He's still a winner.
He deserves it.
Wow.
And then I think we're just getting some more words from ESWC here in the event in general.
Yep.
Double mics. Yeah, this one doesn't work. This one sounds better. I really like the Royal Giant because not only did it win, but it's really yellow when it comes to the hair on its head. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then all these things you see, rocket. I was tired of it. I'm going to nerf it myself. I have contacts. I'll make it happen. Thank you.
Why does the Royal Giant have less health than a Giant, despite it having chainmail? It has
Inferno Dragon, Baby Dragon.
Well, the Inferno Dragon has that barrel, so he's flying a little bit slower.
But he has less health, and he has a helmet.
Oh.
You got to shout out Rumham and
Rainy.
For at the coronation, they brought that up.
Yeah.
Fact stealing over here. 1,000, 2,500. Try bringing those to your nearest bank and cash them. They'll look at you like you're a crazy person.
Oh, the Three Musketeers are presenting them the prize.
Wow, they really went up in elixir value.
Look at that. Ming winning first place gets a gold medal.
It's like the Olympics. Look at these guys. They've got medals and everything. Yes, this is a... What is that? It looks like... Oh, that's the ESWC logo in gold and blue.
$1,500.
Like, wait, who won this? Wait, you want two of them? No, wait, give me that back.
Should have just left it to the Three Musketeers to deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
B Village there winning
third place. Did you win this one? 2,500. Did you win this one?
Oh.
Do you want this? Oh, man, Ming wants to go back home and say, can you multiply this by 10? Because that's what I won in Shanghai. Over 100,000 people involved.
Yep.
This was 128, so it scales proportionally. If not, this is even more when you blow it up to that.
The scale is very fair for what it was.
Surgical is by no means ashamed.
If I was walking with 2,500, I'd be a winner.
You're a winner nonetheless, OJ.
Thank you.
Your positive elixir trades have affected all.
And look at that, just like in Shanghai, he cracks his first smile after winning the prize.
Wow. Kiss the cup.
Kiss the cup. Kiss the cup. We know you can hear you. You can hear us, Ming.
A global hero brought to you all. Next time, someone from France has to make the top 4. I will.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ming wins $5,000, and there's just so many tournaments coming up. On November 6th, there's going to be the King's Cup, and then there's the CR Coronation, the CR North America tournament.
And there's a North America one in Toronto as well, right?
Yeah, the Toronto one is the next week after the King's Cup. There's just so many
intense
intense
tournament season, baby. All right, let's see if Royal Giants... the chat. Let's see if these Royal Giants continue to be used. In my opinion, no. It was the counter to the player, not the counter to a card. Well, it was the counter to a card that the player would use. That's his card that is choice if you use.
Yeah. The Royal Giant just countered all of Surgical's comfort zones, where he had domination of the Expo, he had domination of the Rocket, and it just rocked everything.
What a nice picture. Ming has probably multiple Facebook profile banner options to choose from now, or Twitter options.
Yeah. Should I switch my profile picture to the Shanghai victory, or should I show my ESWC trophy?
This week I'll go with the ESWC because the Three Musketeers showed up.
Oh, yeah. I hope they get some pictures with the Three Musketeers.
This guy's a lively fella. He should host more events. Bringing this crowd to its feet in what was a great weekend. I'm sure those guys are going to go up. I think the French casters might have some words with them, but I think that's pretty much it here from us.
Yeah.
That's like a huge thank you, ESWC, for bringing us out here. It was fun to cast. It was worth it losing the boys. There were some crazy matches, and now going forward into our personal tournaments coming up, we've got a good idea of what decks are working, what's going on.
I have a feeling that the King's Cup that we're going to be participating in is going to be a lot more fun. And
yeah, and just like this, guys, with the final 4 on stage, there's going to be hundreds of people, or a few hundred more at that. I don't even predict a YouTuber to win because of how much skill we're going to see from the public and someone just come and dominate through. I'm just going to be there to have a good time.
I do know 5 players that are going to be at the King's Cup, and those 5 players combined have over 500,000 tournament cards won. So I expect to see all of them to steamroll us YouTubers.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and I'm glad that all the YouTubers were able to hype it up to what it's going to be, but I don't really see one of them winning unless they really practice a lot.
Yep, we're too busy making videos.
Yeah, so
that wraps it up for today.
That's going to wrap it up for today and the entire ESWC 2016 Paris Game Convention Tournament.
Thanks for tuning in today. Stay tuned for more quality OJ.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take it easy.